This game brought to you by Funk's Toyota. Funk's Toyota are proud supporters of the Amateur Sports Network.
Hi, I'm Rick Funk from Funk's Toyota. Our family has been in the automotive business for over 45 years. That's 45 plus years of looking after customers. We have a top worldwide recognized product that we are proud to be a partner with Toyota Canada. Every new and used vehicle is negotiable when it comes to purchasing your vehicle here at Funk's Toyota. Our staff of many years is very knowledgeable and will help you, not force you with your buying decision. There are no hidden fees and no pressure tactics. Not only that, we promise what we deliver and have one of the best used vehicle warranties in the business. Our staff love to serve, and you will feel like family after your first visit. We are not perfect, but we love to please here at Funk's Toyota. For those of you that have experienced our Funk's Toyota family way, please share it with others and like us and share us on Facebook. We are proud to be a sponsor of the Manitoba Amateur Sports. Visit us online at www.funks.toyota.ca.
And this is Cassidy Dankochik here with Mike Still for this Prairie Football Conference contest on the Amateur Sports Network. With today's matchup has the Winnipeg Rifles taking on the Regina Thunder in a battle of 3-3 teams, which both these teams itching for a win probably will decide playoff seeding.
Certainly, this is a humongous game in terms of who gets third place in the conference. Winnipeg and Regina both 3-3 right now. Fourth place is inevitable for one of these teams. They both beat the Edmonton Wildcats enough to sort of eliminate them from the playoffs. Regina beat Winnipeg earlier this season in Week 3. It was a 29-21 victory for the Regina Thunder in a game that, frankly, the Rifles made way too many mental mistakes in, Cassie. I feel like turnovers were a huge part of that game. The Rifles turned the ball over 6 times. One of the turnovers literally came at about the 2-yard line on a pass reception that was fumbled. So situations like that, maybe if they go the other way, maybe we have a different score. We definitely do in terms of that one touchdown. So I think Winnipeg, if they can limit their mental mistakes, should be able to stay toe-to-toe with Regina in this game. The biggest factor on both sides is Winnipeg, they need to establish the run early in this contest. Frankly, they can pass the ball, but it's going to be hard to go toe-to-toe with Brock Sitch and that strong Regina Thunder passing game. Brock Sitch, 1,500 yards passing this season, second in the conference to Jordan Walls from Saskatoon, but that's just a 13-yard difference. So, frankly, it's pretty much the exact same. They've got a very, very good passing game. Sitch in his third year with the Rifles, first year, a start of the season, taking over for Sawyer Bwetner, who's now tearing it up with the Ottawa GGs in the Ontario University Athletics. So, good job for him. But they've also got a couple of game-breaking receivers. Lee Brown is their leading receiver, one of the top receivers in the conference. The Rifles had a lot of trouble stopping the pass when these two teams met for the first time around, so that'll be something to keep an eye on today.
Well, we saw, I think we've been talking before the broadcast saying that the Rifles' best position group is that D-line. We saw them last week. They've done a great job of stopping the run, but maybe they're looking to get a little bit more pressure on the quarterback to try to disrupt this hot Regina Thunder attack.
Oh, 100%. I mean, we saw Noah Wilson really find his groove last week with a 3-sack performance against Calgary. We see Matura Cal back in the lineup here at defensive end on the other side for the Rifles. That's huge. He's leading the conference in sacks with 4.5. Having him back in the lineup is a massive addition for the Rifles. Hayden Nellis back into this game at D-tackle, missed last week's contest. So there's definitely going to be the opportunity for the Rifles to create pressure, but one thing that we do need to talk about too is Regina's offensive line. Not just Regina, but Saskatoon. They've got big boys in general as well. You see it with the Thunder. You see it with the Hilltops. Both teams are very, very, very strong in their offensive line. They do not give up much. Specifically at the tackle positions, Regina is really strong. So it's like you mentioned, Cassie, it's going to be a great battle to watch between Matura Cal and Noah Wilson at defensive end for the Rifles against those two starting tackles for the Regina Thunder in terms of pass protection.
Yeah, and on offense, it's about grinding out those yards on first down for the Rifles, getting into second and manageable, really opening up the playbook and keeping things simple. Just we saw last week against Calgary, not even any exotic really run plays. They were just running it in between the tackles all game long, pounding it right down the middle. You know where the Rifles want to run it, and it's up to this Regina team to stop it.
Definitely. Regina's got a very stout front seven, much like the Rifles do. So it's going to be a really interesting matchup to watch in terms of that regard. Carter Stusik is one of the players to keep an eye on in the front seven for the Regina Thunder. His older brother Bennett actually is playing really well right now for the Regina Rams with over 300 yards receiving. So it's a football family. So he's one player to keep an eye on. He had a really good game against the Thunder the first time these two teams played. Sort of mentioning the run game for the Rifles, Brandon Urcioli was not in the lineup when the Rifles played against the Regina Thunder the first time around. He's sort of their catalyst right now in the run game. We've seen Matt Mintiango have a strong start to this season, but then the Rifles sort of went away from him a little bit. They've got Austin Klein as well, who's their fifth-year back. So they've got three viable candidates in there. So if the power run game through the tackles isn't working, they can look to go with a little bit of an inside or outside zone game with Austin Klein to switch things up a little bit. So the Rifles do have options there. But I feel like they're only going to be able to again, establish the run if they can play stout defensively. And you mentioned the secondary. One player that was not in the lineup the last time these two teams played was Keenan Onabuchi. He was still with the Manitoba Bisons at the time. He's slotted in at safety. He has 4 interceptions with the Rifles since joining the team that leads the conference. Himself and Andrew Ricard have combined for 7 interceptions, which is first and second respectively in the conference. Those two players are game breakers, and having them together could make a huge difference in this contest. I think the X factor to watch is Keenan Onabuchi at safety for the Rifles today.
Onabuchi kind of went off last week against Calgary, able to pick off maybe some sloppy passes, but showing that skill. Sometimes defensive players get the reputation of not being able to catch those balls, but Onabuchi taking advantage of his opportunities last week.
Well, the other thing about Onabuchi is he's an X factor in the return game too. I mean, he had a punt return call back last week for a block in the back, but he's dangerous in that regard. And what that does is it gets your other players off the field so they're not wasting their energy. Andrew Ricard is a guy that used to return kicks, but doesn't do it as much anymore. So you can keep him in the game on defense, and he's fresh, he's ready. Same thing with Brendan Noyox, who's their best receiver. Same thing. I mean, he was returning punts earlier this season, but now having Keenan Onabuchi there, it sort of gives those other players an opportunity to really hone in on what their number one specialty, either offensively or defensively. So that's really important. And one other thing I'd like to mention is this is a little bit of bad blood in a way. I mean, I'm going to say it. I don't know if the two teams are thinking that way, but Regina knocked out Riley Noyox when these two teams played the first time on what I would consider a dirty hit. He was sliding to the ground. He was defenseless, and a Regina player came in and frankly came at him almost headhunting in a way. Now, he didn't injure his head, he injured his knee, but it did knock Riley Noyox out of the game against the Thunder at a time that was critical. So, obviously, he's not going to be thinking about that. No player thinks about what happened 5-6 weeks ago too much, but it's got to be in the back of some player's mind that they want to get some redemption for what happened to their quarterback, and they want to show that they can beat a very strong Regina Thunder team.
Yeah, both these teams really looking to avoid the Saskatoon Hilltops. I think everybody in Canadian junior football wants to avoid the Saskatoon Hilltops at this point in the season.
Oh, yeah. Nobody wants to play Saskatoon, and they don't want to play them in the playoffs, and they definitely don't want to play them in the playoffs at home. It's a recipe for a long night, most likely. And the Rifles, in their program history, a significant amount of games they've played in the playoffs have been against the Saskatoon Hilltops, just based on the way that they finished in the standings. So, last year they played them quite competitively, a 29-21 loss, but a very strong performance from the Rifles in that game, very similar to the score in the Regina Thunder game, actually, from the first time they played. 28-21 was the score last year. But, yeah, you look at it, and obviously it would be a little bit nicer to face the Edmonton Huskies in the first round.
So, I guess getting ready for kickoff here at Investors Group Stadium. We talked a little bit about this last week. This is the second game of the year for the Rifles at Investors Group Stadium, or Investors Group Field, I should say. Do you as a player get a little bit amped up playing in these big stadiums and where you see the CFL teams play?
I mean, it's definitely a bigger feel for sure. I mean, you got the bigger sort of intercom, you got over the loudspeaker, you got everything, all the intrinsics there. It's a lot funner for sure. I don't think it really matters too much to the players, though. I mean, they're locked in regardless, so I really don't think that the stadium is too much of a factor. The only thing maybe that's a little bit different is that your warm-up's a little different. You're a little bit more comfortable, but I don't think it plays too much of a factor.
What might play a factor is the turf here at Investors Group Field, a very high quality field turf. Some of the get to now, it's a pretty chilly day here in Manitoba, so I'm sure these players appreciating a nice field turf as opposed to maybe some of those rougher fields around the city today.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, there's only we only have a select amount of places that we can play on these nice turfs, but nonetheless, getting ready for kickoff here, and between the Rifles and the Thunder should be a great contest here today.
Okay, and we're just going to go for player introductions here, and we'll be back with first quarter action here on the Amateur Sports Network.
Are you looking for a career in the salon industry? Check out Aveda Institute Winnipeg in the Exchange. What sets us apart is our student mentorship program, 95% placement rate after graduation, real-world salon experience, and network of 7,000 salons and spas. You will learn creative cut and coloring, latest trends and techniques, social media marketing, fashion shows, photo shoots, and more. Now accepting applications for 2018, so check us out and book your tour today.
Cassidy Dankochik here with Mike Still, getting ready here for first quarter action. First quarter brought to you by the Aveda Institute. And Mike, a special day for the graduating players here of the Winnipeg Rifles.
Absolutely. It's seniors night, or I guess seniors afternoon here at Investors Group Field. There's quite a few seniors on the team this year for Winnipeg. If you look at sort of the players that have been here the longest, you look at their center out there, Brody Jones, been with the team from St. Paul's for a number of years. Quite a few players, Noah Wilson, Griffin Shillingford, Brendan Noyock's been with the team quite a few years, Hayden Nellis. So there's obviously Donovan Hillary, there's Andrew Ricard. I mean, and as I continue to list these names off, we're talking about really the impact players for the Rifles. Quite a few impact seniors are going to be graduating or graduating out of the program at the end of this year. So for these guys, this very well could be the last, well, not very well, this will be the last game they play inside of Investors Group Field. And obviously that increases the desire to win this game. Your last opportunity to play in front of the hometown crowd, in front of the fans at Investors Group Field. So you expect to see a little bit of extra passion coming from those guys. You see the parents of the families out there on the field as well. Nice touch from the Rifles organization to have them out there for the pregame, and really just a special sort of ceremony for all of those players. And you have to imagine that's in the back of their minds as well, as they really want to finish on a high note here with the Winnipeg Rifles.
And I'm sure even the younger players can appreciate that and are motivated to and realize that this is the last time they'll be suiting up at home with their teammates that are going to be graduating. So they're going to be motivated as well.
100%. I mean, there's no doubt about that. You always want to win for those guys. We're going to pause for Canada real quick. We'll be right back.
Castida and Kojic back here with Mike Still. We're waiting as the team captains go out for the coin toss here.
Like I mentioned earlier, Cassie, I think when we look at this game and you look at sort of the big factors that go into it, I really think that this is going to come down to how well the Rifles secondary can play against this Regina Thunder receiving core, and how well the Regina Thunder are going to be able to block up those gaps, specifically the defensive ends, Machirakawa and Noah Wilson, who combined have 7.5 sacks this season. That's really the big matchup to pay attention to. And like we mentioned in the pregame show, if the Rifles can establish that run game early, if they go one-dimensional and if they're forced to pass, if they go down a little bit early, depending on what happens in this contest, that does not play into the Rifles' wheelhouse. Riley Noyax is a good quarterback, but it's risky for him to try and go throw for throw with Brock Sitch. That's not really something you want to get into. The Rifles, if they're going to win this game, they're going to pound the run and they're going to play hard defensively. We've already talked about the front seven play of the Winnipeg Rifles this season. We know what they bring to the table in that regard. And like I mentioned, Keenan Onabuchi being in the lineup, was not in the lineup the first time these two teams played. So having him at safety, a big factor for the Rifles. You have to expect that that's going to be something that Regina keys in on, and we'll see how they play into that. One X factor for Regina to watch out for is Tanner Zaharia. He's a receiver, sort of plays a little bit of a tight end style role as well for the team. He's a big man. He's a very, very, very large man. Their biggest receiver, well over 6 feet tall. Winnipeg does not have the biggest secondary in the world. Specifically, their two halfbacks are relatively small. So that's one area where, I think Regina might try to key in on is try to get some of those vertical passes going, really utilize the height of a player like Tanner Zaharia. But again, if you're Winnipeg, establish that run. Brandon Urcioli was not in the lineup the first time these two teams played. We'll see if that plays a factor here. And again, having the ability to go with him, go with Mate Mitiango, or go with Austin Klein, depending on how things goes. Those are all critical parts of this game to keep in mind and to sort of see what the Rifles employ.
If the Rifles do go to the air, I think the Noyax connection as the brother-to-brother connection through the air is probably the best we've seen for the Rifles, the most effective and most consistent, as you'd expect brothers to be on the same page, and they often are through the air. Yeah,
I mean, they've been throwing the ball to each other since they could walk, really, and they come from a long lineage of very strong players. Their oldest brother, Scotty, was a tremendous player himself as well. So there's definitely that background there, and having that familiarity is huge. Brendan has been inconsistent at times. I think the Saskatoon game was a game where he was really shut down. He's had some games where he's been the reason why the Rifles have won. You look at the game against the Edmonton Wildcats, first game of the season, he returns a punt return for a touchdown, and that's a huge play in that game. You look again later on in the season, again against the Edmonton Wildcats, actually another punt return touchdown. So, I mean, Brendan Noyax is a huge X factor. Griffin Schillingford, another receiver for them. We've seen him have some good games this season. He's just also been really inconsistent. So it's just a matter of getting the ball into your playmakers' hands and just letting them do the rest. Another player for the Rifles to watch out for is Tyler Hodgson. Actually, their leading receiver coming into this game had 2 touchdown receptions last week. He's a guy that's similar to Tanner Zaharia. As I look down and physically see Tanner Zaharia, very large man, but Tyler Hodgson is very, very, very big as well, about 6'3", 6'4". He uses that frame to his advantage, runs down the seam quite a bit as that hybrid tight end H-back style player, and very effective in the red zone, sort of bumping out into the flats. So that's something to keep an eye out for too, is we really didn't see a lot of Tyler Hodgson being used against the Regina Thunder the first time they played. We'll see, because of the way that this Rifles offense has evolved, if he is a factor for them in this contest as well.
Regina kicking off to the Rifles to open this game. Rifles in their gray, black, and blue. Regina in primarily white. And that kicked off about to the 15-yard line.
Keenan Onabuchi going to return this one. And that's a solid return for Onabuchi, still on his feet, all the way up, still moving, pretty much to the 45. And like I mentioned, again, he was not in the game the last time these two teams played, and having him even just on specials, big factor for the Rifles, just being able to have a guy that has that vision, being able to be patient, let those blocks sort of play out is what he did there. And again, keeping your feet moving, hard to bring down. Good starting field position for the Rifles here.
It looked like a power running back there, grinding out those extra few yards, and the Rifles will set up on their own 45.
Single back set with, it's the lead back here is Urcioli. Get about 4 yards there for the Rifles. And again, that's something that Winnipeg really needs to employ here early on is the run game. That's a solid first down gain for Urchioli. About 4 yards, 3 or 4 yards there. Setting up a second and short situation where the playbook is relatively open.
We have seen the Rifles run out of these second and medium situations and have had relatively good success, maybe on taking advantage of a little bit of unexpected run.
Single back here, moves into naked bootleg now for Riley Noyox. First down. I believe he was trying to find Griffin Schillingford on the screen pass, as that was where he was looking, and Schillingford was isolated there. But I think that was a good job by Noyox, seeing that play wasn't really going to work out the way he wanted it to. Regina saw it coming, so he decided to run that time and got a first down for Winnipeg. So good decision there from the second-year pivot, Riley Noyox.
A smart job to step up through the middle of the pocket instead of running too far.
That was a nice block on the outside there by the Rifles, one of the right guard out there for Winnipeg, but snuffed down by one of the ends for Regina. A short game for Brandon Urchioli on that run, only about, we'll give him 2 on that one, set up a 2nd and 8 situation here. Ball is at the 48-yard line of the Regina Thunder. Single back set again here. Under center is Riley Noyox. He's got Urchioli behind him. Motions Tyler Hodgson to the right. Play action fake. Noyox back to pass that one as well. Over top of the head of the intended receiver there.
Noyox, great job of feeling the pressure coming from the backside there. He needed to get that ball off right when he did. He held it as long as he possibly could. Took a bit of a shot, but managed to avoid the sack and keep some valuable field position here for the Rifles.
Good job feeling the pressure, but you also want to see Riley maybe display a little bit less sort of gusto on that ball. He threw it certainly a little bit too hard for the intended receiver. He really had no chance to make a play there. Maybe a good decision because the DB was right on his hip, but you maybe want to see that one thrown a little bit more inside and not necessarily as aggressive as he throws it there. But again, probably a good decision to avoid a possible pick. Great punt there by the Rifles.
A little surprised to see that punt fielded, as it was for sure going to pretty much guaranteed to go into the end zone for a single point there.
Another thing to keep an eye on in this game is Jordan Bush is still not playing. He's got a concussion that he suffered against the Edmonton Huskies a few weeks ago. We might not see him for the rest of the season. We'll have to see how it plays out. But again, for the second week in a row, the punting duties are going to be enlisted to a player that has punted in the past for the Rifles, but obviously hasn't been their lead kicker this year. So obviously that's something to keep an eye on. A good start there. Screen pass, gain of about 9 on the play. That was Greg Lamb with the reception.
Nice. Just start your offense. You're going to be throwing through the air, so you want to get your QB into a rhythm. Give him something simple early on to pick up some yards and get into a second and short.
Smart play there by the Rifles. By the Thunder. Absolutely, setting up a second and short here. Single back set. Trips to the short side of the field for Regina. There's nobody on the wide side of the field. Designed handoff here. First down. Tackle by Keenan Onabuchi there.
Multiple fouls on this play. Look, I'm willing to bet one of them offsides and maybe a holding call as well. So we'll see how this all sorts out.
We definitely saw a flag come out before that snap, so it's certainly going to be an offside or procedure call here, most likely offside. Or it's going to be holding on. Offside on the Rifles, holding on the Thunder here. So that's going to end up being a 5-yard. They'll probably take it back 5 yards, I believe, on this one. Yeah, we'll go back 5. 10-yard penalty for holding, 5 for offside. So take it back 5. Setting the Regina Thunder up now with a 2nd and 6 instead of a 2nd and 1.
You see 2 O-linemen come off and 2 receivers go on. So
you definitely see the change up in the game plan
packet
here on a 2nd and short compared to 2nd and medium situation. And the punter is Dallas Opiola for the Rifles, so that'll be something to keep an eye on for. A strong start for Opiola. Again, he's punted for this team in the past. Didn't have the greatest game last week, but again, got off to a great start here with a tremendous kick. Shotgun. Brock Sitch back to pass. He's going to go long. And it's picked off on the play. And that is going to be Jake Richardson with the pick. That's interception number 2 on the season for the halfback. In my opinion, Jake Richardson is probably one of the best tacklers that the Rifles have. Not necessarily known for making a lot of plays in terms of the passing game, just because he steps up in the run quite a bit. But that was a great decision, an underthrown ball. Tremendous play, tremendous single coverage there, and that one was intended for Isaac Ford. Richardson says no thanks. Rifles set up at the 50.
Just hung up a little bit too much on him. Not sure what happened as Noyax falls trying to hand off that ball.
That's unfortunate. I mean, that's just an absolute accident. Obviously, just kind of tripped over his own foot there. And lucky to just sort of get on top of that ball and keep possession here.
Yeah, that's textbook DB play going back to that interception. Basically running the route for the receiver, cutting underneath. Perfect.
Absolutely tremendous coverage there by Richardson. He sort of knew the situation, knew the down and the distance there, and made a great play on the ball. Absolutely. Like you mentioned, Cassie, he really turned into the receiver in that situation and was able to get a little bit of an inside shade there on Isaac Ford. Shotgun situation here. Riley Noyax back to pass. Got some nice touch on this ball. And that one is nearly caught, but a great play defensively. Knocking that one away for the Regina Thunder was number 7. That's Tyrell Latoski knocking that one down. A good ball there by Noyax, but just an even better play by the Thunder defensive back on that play.
Brings up 3rd and long, so Rifles going to punt here. Almost looked like they were setting up for a second to run a play, but
set up back around the 21-22 yard line as a returner for the Regina Thunder. Got a decent kick there for Opiola.
Takes a Rifles bounce at the least.
And kicking it outside. Plenty of room there. There's going to be a flag. This is going to come back for an illegal block.
Holding call.
As Ethan Douglas returns
quite an obvious hold there. As you could see the Rifles player throw up his hands in frustration as he was getting held. The Thunder even just already walking it back, looking to set up 10 yards back from where the holding call was.
As soon as the flag comes out, hands up. You know, obviously that one was not too hard to miss, and unfortunate penalty for the Thunder there.
So I'll take him back to the 31-yard line. Thunder set up in shotgun here, single back, standing beside.
There's Brock Sitch in the shotgun formation, trips to the short side of the field, 2 receivers to the wide side. There's a timeout for the Rifles here down on the field. Maybe they saw something in the alignment they didn't like. Onabuchi doesn't look like he was on the field there, so that might have been why. That's understandable.
Yeah.
Not too sure what was going on there, but nonetheless, the safety is now back on the field for Winnipeg.
Yeah, I was looking as they were calling the timeout. I was looking there. Looked like there was no safety. I was like, oh, they're bringing some pressure. Didn't quite catch that safety was off the field.
Bringing new definition to the word cover 0 on that one. With 11 players instead of 12. So we've seen Regina obviously go to the pass here early. That's their calling card. It's been their calling card all season. Brock Sitch, 1,500 yards passing in 6 games this season. So we'll continue to see them go to that. Obviously, they've got a big offensive line here, so they won't be afraid to run the ball. They've got 2 running backs that each have over 200, close to 300 yards rushing. So it's a multifaceted offensive attack for the Thunder. But they do go to the air, or prefer to, typically. Trying to draw the Rifles offside, and there will be a penalty there. This one's a handoff. A huge gain to the outside. Tristan Lockman all the way past the 50 of the Rifles.
Rifles D-line sent reeling with that hard count and never really set their feet, and I think that's what really broke that run open.
Yeah, definitely, Cassie. I mean, as soon as absolutely, it was a tremendous job by the Thunder there to sort of draw the Rifles, and like you mentioned, the D-line leaning forward a little bit, didn't get as much as much of a first step as you would probably want in that situation, and now the Thunder set up on the 48-yard line of the Winnipeg Rifles here.
Still no score in this first quarter, 9:40 to go. Another handoff here. That's going to get cut down in the backfield.
Tremendous play there by Andrew Ricard, stepping up from his cornerback position. That is textbook contained by Ricard there. Goes down low. That's a big back there that the Thunder have running the ball. So you don't really want to be going too high on that tackle, obviously, with Tristan Lockman and the size that he has. Right decision there by Ricard, and he makes the play.
That score update brought to you by the Days Inn. The Days Inn in Winkler is the only hotel in the Pembina Valley with a water slide.
It's going to be a 2nd and 10 situation here for the Thunder. I have to imagine they're going to go to the pass here, but obviously that is not guaranteed.
Officiating crew taking their time whistling the play in here, and they've done that a couple times so far early in this game.
Trips to the short side of the field. 2 receivers to the wide side. Sitch back to pass here. Feels pressure. He's got Noah Wilson on his back and Maturicao. Scrambling out. He's going to throw it here. And that one is complete on the play.
Well, that's just smart scramble rules from your receiver coming back to the ball, providing a pretty easy target for Sitch to hit on the run.
Ethan Douglas with the reception for Regina. And there's not too much you can do there if you're the Rifles. I mean, you're forced to cover that man for 10 to 11 seconds on that play, and that was really just a good job of Sitch, rolling onto the pocket, realizing how much time he had to throw, and eventually finds a receiver open. 1st and 10 here now from the 25-yard line for the Regina Thunder. Single back set. Sitch going to go to the screen pass here, and nothing doing on that one. Again, it's Andrew Ricard saying no thank you.
Bit of an odd snap there. Definitely messed up the rhythm of that play.
Yeah, that one was, you gave the defense a couple extra seconds to set up there for sure by sort of fumbling that one a little bit. We'll give him a gain of about 1 on that play, about a 2nd and 9 here for the Thunder. Again, it's a single back set here. It's Lockman. Back to pass to Sitch. He's going to go to the end zone, and that one is incomplete. Good job there by Keenan Onyebuchi at the safety position, really reading that one there and sort of sealing up the middle of the field. There wasn't really anywhere for Sitch to throw that ball.
Yeah, he threw that. I don't think a Rifle had a chance at that one, making sure that he doesn't throw an interception while the Thunder are in prime position to open the scoring in this game.
So that'll set up a field goal situation here for the Thunder. Ball it'll be a 25-yard field goal. Kicking for the Thunder is Eric Maximiuk. That's a tremendous last name. Here's the kick. No doubt about it from 25, and that's going to open the scoring here. There's 7:40 left to go in the first quarter. Now 3-0 for the Regina Thunder.
So the the Rifles give up a couple big plays on that drive, but stiffen up in the red zone, able to limit the damage to only a field goal.
Yeah, 2 big plays on that drive really sort of dictated it. There was the huge run by Lockman on that outside run, and then the passing play where Sitch was able to scramble into the pocket and had plenty of time to find an open receiver there. So two big plays to find that, but still a good job by the Rifles to hold Regina to 3 here. First down from the 35. It's a handoff to Miteongo, and he is stood up at the line of scrimmage there, nowhere to go. That's Carter Stusik in on that tackle.
Tried to bounce it outside and was shut down.
This is completely unrelated to anything in terms of actual performance, but Carter Stusik's got a tremendous flow. I just got to say, that's real nice stuff there. Now back to regular action here. 2nd and 10 from the 35. Noyox in the shotgun. He's got Miteongo. He's going to motion to the right side. He's going first. Looks, and he's got a receiver open to about the 47-yard line. It's Dallas Opiola making the reception there. So the punter / receiver with a great grab there. And that's the situation where you just sort of run to where the first down marker is. Good read there by Noyox, and got it done for a first down. And that's sort of I would say Noyox is a better quarterback when it comes to those mid-range passing plays, sort of crossing routes, that sort of situation. We haven't seen him throw the deep ball tons this year, but we'll have to see what they employ as the game goes along. That one's a handoff to Urcioli right up the middle. Gain of a couple.
Nice job tackling there. Looked like Urcioli might have been able to break into the second level, but stopped for a gain of about 3-4 yards. Parker
Dawson making the tackle there for Regina. Pretty big defensive tackles the Thunder have. Sort of sat right in the middle of that front seven. So Urcioli's a big back, but specifically number 97 there, Jordan Thal, a large individual. As that's another first down with the pass. Oh, there's a fumble, though, and that one should be a turnover.
Oh, it's ruled incomplete.
Oh,
pass.
They're going to call incomplete. That's a tough one. It almost looked like there was enough to call that a fumble, but I do think that was the right call by the referee. The receiver really didn't turn upfield enough to consider that a fumble. Didn't have full possession of the ball. And the refs are deliberating here. And oh, my goodness, they're going to actually say first down. So, Cassie, this went from an incomplete pass to a fumble to a first down for the Rifles. I'm not going to complain if you're the Rifles on that one. That was, first of all, a great catch in traffic there. But, again, interesting. I personally thought that was an incomplete pass. But and if anything, possibly a fumble.
Yeah, it looked like the ball was coming out before he hit the ground.
Nonetheless, this could be a first down for Winnipeg. Ball at the 45. Two-back set here for Noyox. Read option play. Possibly looking to toss it to Urcioli, but that was contained well by the Thunder, and really not much there.
Well, that's textbook. That's how you teach how to defend an option play. Perfect form from the Thunder there.
Yeah, you had the cornerback, didn't bite, kept on the running back, and obviously great contained inside by the linebackers there. 2nd down and 9 here for Winnipeg. Noyox with one back behind him. It's Urcioli. Now he's going to come in to block. He's got 2 receivers open on crossing routes. That's going to be a flag, I believe, for face mask. Possibly is the only thing I could really think of down there. That one was caught by the rookie Luke McMillan. If you're Luke McMillan there, you need to get upfield immediately. He caught that ball and tried to sort of use his speed. He is a fast receiver, but you need to cut upfield as soon as you get that football. It is a face mask, though, that's going to be called on the Regina Thunder, so that's going to work out for Winnipeg. Critical penalty here on a play that would have forced a 3rd down situation for the Rifles. We do have an injured Winnipeg Rifle on the field, though. I can't really see from this far away who that is. So we will take a pause here to check that one out. That might be Noyox. It's Noyox who's down on the field. That's the quarterback. Cassidy, the Rifles don't have Drennan Bush. He's their backup quarterback. They're going to have to go to Kyle Logan here if Noyox can't come back into this game. And they're looking at the knee that's previously been injured. And he's limping pretty, a slight limp. We'll see if he can work it on the sideline. Hoping for the best for the Rifles pivot. But Kyle Logan is going to have to come into this game for the Winnipeg Rifles. And again, he's technically your 3rd-string quarterback. He did see some good times sort of in the preseason, but we really haven't seen meaningful snaps all season for Kyle Logan. It's a tough situation for a cold quarterback to come in here in the most important game of the season for Regina, but we'll see how he does here. 1st and 10 from the 26 for the Winnipeg Rifles. Handoff here to Brandon Urcioli. He's got a lot of room right up the middle. Breaks 2 tackles, breaks 3 tackles. Brandon Urcioli. That's a Winnipeg Rifles touchdown. Stiff arm, cut it upfield, and that is just a tremendous play by the Winnipeg Rifles back. And like it was mentioned earlier on, Brandon Urcioli did not play when these two teams faced off in Week 3. He's here today, and he makes a massive statement early in this contest for the Rifles.
Well, you have the backup QB come in, the 3rd stringer come in. Well, what are you going to do? Let's establish the run, and I'm surprised Regina didn't account for that, although it's just probably a great play there as you just break an arm tackle left and right.
I actually think the way that play was set up, I don't think it was intentional. It was sort of like a bit of a slow setup with the handoff, but it worked out well for Winnipeg because what it did was it sort of forced the Regina D-line to take a bit of a pause, almost like it was a draw play. That gave the offensive line a little bit of a chance to set up. Urcioli had a chance to sort of see how the play was developing, had a great stiff arm about 10 yards upfield, and then just used his speed to do the rest. And again, that's huge. Obviously, first time this season that the Rifles have had a lead against the Regina Thunder, and Regina hasn't trailed that much this season. So if you're Winnipeg, that's a massive confidence boost, and really a statement to just how much of a factor Brandon Urcioli is for this team. And obviously you have to think if he's in that game against Regina earlier on this season, maybe it's a different outcome. Great start for him.
You can't tackle him with your arms, and I think Regina just learned that lesson. You're gonna have to hit this guy if you're gonna want to take him down.
I don't know if they respected him as much on that play. Again, they didn't see him the first time the teams played. And yeah, a lot of arm tackles on that one for the Thunder, and Urcioli just sort of rumbled through that second level for the Thunder and got into the end zone. And it's a squib kick here. Going to be picked up at about the 38-yard line. Kellen Henry, the one who picked that one up.
Interesting technique there with the squib kick. Wonder if trying to put that into an area where the Rifles could possibly run that down, maybe hit it a little too hard.
I believe it's just, in my opinion, it's just because Drennan Bush isn't playing and not necessarily as strong of a leg on the backup there. It's not really an ideal situation because you've got Regina set up at the 40 here, but we'll have to see what happens on this drive, as that's going to be a cutback, all kinds of room to the outside for Braden Long, all the way into Regina territory. So you talk about Brandon Urcioli playing a factor for the Rifles. Regina, they're establishing the run here too early on.
Long just stepped out of bounds there. I thought he had a chance to maybe try a cutback and really keep going. Decided to step out of bounds. Maybe a little, not sure about that decision.
Well, nonetheless, still a big gain there for Long into Rifles territory. Down to roughly the 36-yard line. And if you're Regina, really the passing game, aside from a few plays, has been stymied for the most part by the Rifles. So really a complete overhaul from the first time these teams played. Another screen pass here. Yet again, coming up is the halfback on that one to make the play.
That's probably a pretty good outcome, as when that ball was released, I thought it was going to get knocked down. It's nice edge pressure there, but not able to knock it down.
Jake Richardson makes the tackle there, and again, I sort of mentioned that earlier, where Richardson is known for his tackling, and this is probably the Thunder have done that screenplay a few times. They had success with it on the first time they tried it, but the last two times, Ricard and Richardson respectively have stifled that one. Second down run play here, and that one's going to be short of a first down. Nice tackle by Matura Cow coming off of his end position to stop that one. Short of a first down by about 2 or 3 yards.
Second and long draw play, trying to catch the Rifles off guard. Great tackle, grabbing the legs of the running back. Looked like he might have had a chance at that one.
Yeah, that was a toe tip trip. Definitely there by a Cow, kind of using his length a little bit there, but pretty long reach there. Made the play. Regina's going to go for it. Third down here from the 30-yard line. Brock Sitch, empty backfield, passing situation. That's going to be a completion for a first down and then some. And that was a great pass there by Sitch to Ethan Douglas on the play. Douglas, again, knowing where the first down marker is, just sort of sat there. Sitch threw the ball only where the receiver can make a play, and then Douglas cut it back inside and got some extra yak yards on that one.
Well, you're looking at the other two receivers there on that side of the field, doing a good job of clearing out, creating enough space for the receiver to catch the ball and after the first down line marker.
So Regina now in the red zone at the 20-yard line. Sitch, one back behind him here. It's going to be a zone read here to the outside. Winnipeg all over that one, though. Nowhere to go for Braden Long on that one.
Looked like they brought in a couple extra blockers there, keeping, you see number 64 and number 70 for the Thunder trotting off the field. So the big set coming out on first down for the Thunder.
Absolutely. That was a run play all the way there, and Winnipeg snuffed that one out really well on that one. Second down and 10 here, again, ball at the 20. Sitch, he's got Long with him in the backfield again here. Trips to the wide side of the field. Oh, and they got Winnipeg offside for the second time here in the first quarter on the hard count.
Let's see. They're going to have a meeting about this. It
might be a
almost
procedure call
looked
here.
like procedure. It was pretty close.
Regina was immediately pointing at the Rifles on that one, but obviously when you're offside, when you call for procedure, you're not going to put your hand up and go, oh, that was me on that one. So we'll have to see if it's offside or procedure here. It's going to be procedure on the Thunder, so trying to do a little bit of that, trying to fake it till you make it on that one. Didn't work out. But I do like the thought process from the Thunder. They're trying to go on the hard count. It did work earlier in the game, resulted in that big run play, the biggest gain on the ground for the Thunder. So it makes sense to sort of try that hard count, but offensive line's got to know what's going on there too.
Second and long now for the Thunder.
Sitch back to pass, plenty of time to throw, single coverage. He's got a man in the end zone, and that one is incomplete, nearly intercepted on the play by Zach Wood. Again, almost acting like the receiver once more in that one. And I don't know, that's just a straight go route on that one. One-on-one coverage, and for the second time in this game, a Rifles halfback has made a great play.
That ball was just underthrown. If that was to the back corner of the end zone, I don't think the Rifles Rifles player would have had a chance at that.
Definitely a situation there where if you're Sitch, you want to put some more touch on that one, maybe a little bit. Nonetheless, there's going to be a field goal situation here from the 31. That kick is off of the upright, and so Regina's going to get nothing from that drive. And if you're Winnipeg, that's a humongous win.
That's just a bad beat. I thought that was going in off the post, but it just came out and hit it at about the 3-yard line, I think.
From up here, it definitely looked like it was trailing to the left, but I also agree with you. I thought that was going to kick off the upright and sort of steal itself to the far, like to that right corner and slide in, but not playing to the Thunder's favor there. And if you're Winnipeg, again, that's a humongous win here against one of the highest scoring offenses in the conference. To have the score at 7-3 right now, I mean, that's a humongous win. First and 10 here from the 20 for Winnipeg. Again, Kyle Logan back on. We still haven't seen Riley Noyax back in this game. First and 10, he's got Urcioli in the backfield. Tyler Hodgson motions to the right. Fake handoff here from Logan. He's got a man, and it's complete. That's Griffin Schillingford all the way past midfield for the fifth-year veteran. Again, playing in his last home game. One-on-one coverage there. Tremendous play from the former member of the Mount Allison Mounties.
That's a great ball, and that's just a perfect tight spiral. You can see Nyax on the injury table clapping his hands for his backup QB. So
you gotta love it.
Yeah.
You gotta love it. I mean, he wants to be on there, but he's still actively invested in this game. Tremendous. First down here, Kyle Logan handing it off, and another huge gain up the middle for Brandon Urcioli. Close to 10 yards on first down. Great block in there. Brody Jones, the center, leading that one as we head to the second quarter here. Score 7-3 for the Winnipeg Rifles, and you have to look at this and say that's a win for Winnipeg.
With Noyax out, the pressure is on. The pressure's on this running game. We've seen the running game step up. We've seen them take shots downfield with the backup. So no Noyax, no problem for the Rifles. That first quarter brought to you by the Aveda Institute. And quite an entertaining first quarter it was.
Absolutely. I'd like to mention, I love the play call by the Rifles there on first down. Kyle Logan's first full series, going straight to the pass. Get him comfortable there, get some throws under his belt. I love that play call. Then go to the run. We'll see if the Rifles can keep it going here in the second quarter, which is brought to you by Wentworth Ag. For all your grain bins, grain handling, and grain drying needs, see Wentworth Ag.
Are you looking for a career in the salon industry? Check out Aveda Institute Winnipeg in the Exchange. What sets us apart is our student mentorship program, 95% placement rate after graduation, real-world salon experience, and network of 7,000 salons and spas. You will learn creative cut and coloring, latest trends and techniques, social media marketing, fashion shows, photo shoots, and more. Now accepting applications for 2018, so check us out and book your tour today. Aveda Institute Winnipeg.
Still getting worked on there on the sideline there for the Rifles, and it's all hands on deck if you're the trainers for the team right now. They got 3 or 4 down there, hopefully trying to get their starting quarterback back into this contest.
Well, Noyax, he was injured against the same Regina team. We didn't really quite see the injury. That injury, the last injury he had in Regina, was a lot scarier than this one was.
Yeah, I mean, I legitimately, I have to apologize to the viewers. I didn't catch what happened to Noyox on that play. Maybe he got hit. He had to have been hitting the knee at some point because it was that leg he was going for. But, I mean, I'm not going to say there was any kind of dirty hit because I didn't actually see what happened. It
was after the ball had been out. You'd have to think at that point almost if he would have been hit, you're surprised you don't see a penalty. So, but again, we don't know. So it might have been.
You never know. It could have
just been a bad plant, maybe. We just don't know.
Yeah, it's basically impossible to say, but all we do know is that Kyle Logan is still in this game for the Rifles. He hands it off here on second and short. It's going to be close to a first down. Late flag is going to go against the Rifles here. One of their offensive linemen pushed a Thunder player to the ground. Was that a little bit of embellishment? I couldn't say for sure, but it is going to cost the Rifles here.
You got to be smarter. You know you're gonna go for it in that situation, even if you don't get the first down. Looked like it was going to be 3rd and inches, get a fresh set of downs. Instead, it's going to be 3rd and long, probably.
And discipline was a factor for the Rifles again in their first contest against against the Thunder as well. Took a few too many penalties, and you don't want to start that trend here. Sometimes that, you take one penalty and it's sort of a downward spiral and it keeps going here. If you're the Rifles, obviously in that situation, it really cuts a lot of momentum as you're driving the ball there. But now it's up to the defense to really step up and make a play here and sort of keep the momentum with Winnipeg. And if you're Regina, this is a huge opportunity to turn the tides here off of a costly penalty. There's the punt there by Opiola. It's a little bit short, but he gets a Winnipeg bounce back to the 20-yard line. Fielded to the outside there. There's a flag on the play.
We see a Regina Thunder player laying on, I believe that's the kicker. So that might be what caused it.
Saw Opiola going down immediately. Right as soon as that ball was off his foot, he was going and gunning down there to try to make the tackle. But there is going to be a flag here, obviously going to be called against the Regina Thunder here for a holding penalty. Regina's taken quite a few penalties in the first, not even the first half, just through the first quarter and started the second here. Typically a disciplined team, and this one's going to draw them quite a few yards back here, so have to be happy with this if you're the Rifles, because if you look at where that punt was, you look at the net yardage on that kick, that's well over close to 60 net yards on that kick.
Especially considering it didn't really fly all that much through the air. Jumbo package out here for the Thunder.
Trips to the short side of the field. It's going to be there. Regina looking for a screen there and
fumble ball
touched.
Still loose in the end zone.
Touchdown,
finally fell on it. Oh, it's a cross up. It looked like it was going to be a fake screen trying to catch a go route, but none of the receivers went.
Oh, my Lanta, Donovan Hillary. That's going to be a touchdown for the fifth-year linebacker as that one went rumbled, bumbled, and stumbled past about 7 players before Hillary got on it. Like you mentioned, Cassie, for the 4th time in this game, Regina tried to go to a screen pass. It hasn't really worked too well. The Rifles knew it was coming, and like you said, all 3 receivers kind of just stood there and didn't really know what to do. They didn't really audible out of it. The Rifles were clearly coming on a blitz because they were trying to set up the screen. There were 4 players in Sitch's face there, and really there wasn't one guy that got to him. There was a handful, and it's now 14-3 for the Winnipeg Rifles here early in the second quarter.
Well, this is the rest of the team really stepping up. Your starting quarterback goes down. First play after it, you hand it off, and your running back runs through about 5 players, get to the end zone, and now the defense steps up and gets some points on the board for their offense that they know is in a tough spot losing your starting quarterback.
And honestly, Cassie, with your starting quarterback out, you need these kinds of plays from your defense. You need them to sort of give some life to that offense a little bit. Now, obviously, Kyle Logan has played well since he's come into this game, but getting a touchdown from your defense, not the first time it's happened this season. We saw Devin Turner score a touchdown on a pick 6 as well this year. This is a Rifles defense that has made tons of plays, and another one here from their front 7. defensive line getting the sack, and Don O'Hillery, again in his last game as a senior here, last home game, coming up with a huge play. So if you're Winnipeg, you have to be happy with the play from both your offense and defense here, as that's, I believe, Scott Brackle kicking that one for the Rifles.
Looks like Rifles on kickoffs are just trying to kick to open areas, let the ball bounce, and when a football bounces, you never know where it's going to go. So trying to maybe pick up a turnover, as we saw a flag fly there as well.
And that one's another penalty on the Regina Thunder here. Very undisciplined to start this game.
I think that's their third penalty on special teams so far today.
They've basically taken a holding or illegal block penalty every time that they've returned a kick, essentially, almost in this game.
So back in, you're looking at this Rifles defense preventing only 3 points for the Hilltops on 2 trips into the red zone, and they've scored 7 points of the 14 points. So the Rifles defense again coming to play today.
Jumbo package again for the Thunder here. It's going to be a run play, and there's nowhere to go on that one. Donovan Hillary in on that one. Noah Wilson in on that one. Great job there by the Rifles. They knew what was coming there, as there's obviously a couple of extra offensive linemen in on that one.
It's been feast or famine for the Thunder when they're running the ball. They're either busting out 20 or 30-yard gains or getting stopped at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and I think if you're Winnipeg here, you've sort of seen that the Thunder have had success running the ball. It's starting to tighten up a little bit more now. Sitch back to pass. Pressure in his face a little bit. He moves out. That one's going to be complete for a first down. A little bit more as well on the play.
Fumble.
Oh, it's a fumble. And the Rifles have the ball. Goodness gracious. I think that was Andrew Ricard that forced the fumble.
A late flag is going to move the Rifles back a bit, it looks like.
As Greg Lamb, a great job finding a little bit of open space there, but an even better job by the Rifles just ripping that football out. And I hate to take action away from the play, but we see Riley Noyox down here on the far end. He's not going to be coming back into this football game, I don't think, Cassie. He's got his boot off. He's got a significant limp here. Hoping for the best for the second-year pivot, but back to game action. Winnipeg set up here again in Regina territory, back-to-back turnovers. This defense is really stepping up for their injured quarterback.
Well, you see sometimes a player just staying upright, trying to get those extra yards. Even though he's held up, you got to be protecting the ball. You know that second and third player, if you're stopped up, is going to be ball hunting, and that's exactly what the Rifles were doing.
You just mentioned it, Cassie. That second player, that DB coming in for the Rifles, the first thing he was looking for was the strip. There was a player already sort of had the tackle on Lamb, came in and immediately went for the ball. I don't think Lamb is necessarily expecting that, and obviously the Rifles pick it up. They took an unfortunate penalty at the end of the play, it was mentioned earlier, but still, I would have to say this is probably one of the best starts the Rifles have had to a contest in terms of just offense and defense combined here. They've established a little bit of a passing game. They've clearly established a run game, and they've got 3 turnovers on defense already in this game, one of which has been a touchdown. So really a tale of 2 games. First time these two teams played, it was the Rifles that turned the ball over 6 times. Few turnovers in the first half. Now, second time these teams have played, and already 3 first-half turnovers from the Regina Thunder.
We see a Thunder player taking a knee.
That looked like it might have been Brock Sitch, actually, that took a knee there.
Number 14 backup warming up.
So neither quarterback really having a great day at the office to start today's contest. We've got a pretty good look at Sitch down here where we're at, so we'll maybe keep an eye on that one. As cutting in is Brandon Urcioli. He's got all kinds of room again, all the way down to inside the 25 of the Regina Thunder. Brandon Urcioli really having a great day so far. He's just cutting right inside the tackles, just hard pounding that run game.
Sitch looking like maybe got hit to the rib cage a little bit. That's what.
Yeah, it looks like they're looking at the ribs there. Again, we'll keep an eye on that one. It looks like he's in a bit of discomfort there. As again, the Rifles going to go to the run, and Urcioli looking for some room there, but that time nothing doing. As I was the defensive tackle, Brandon Thal in to make the play.
Of course, injury updates brought to you by Align Your Mind, high-performance brain coaching in sports. Visit alignyourmind.ca.
And if you're a quarterback, I mean, you got the sort of the rib protectors there, but if you take a hard enough hit where you take a helmet to the ribs there, it's hard to breathe in those situations, obviously. So we'll see. Obviously, keep an eye on Sitch there, but Rifles back to pass here on the 2nd and long. Looking to set up a screenplay here. It's going to be a holding penalty. He's going to take it back regardless as to what happens here. That was a screenplay all the way. Logan, it looked like he didn't really like what was being set up there, and then the left tackle takes a penalty as well. So that's going to... Obviously, I think the Thunder are going to decline that and set up a 3rd down here, but we'll have to see. Maybe
I think the Thunder are going to decline it. Okay.
Knowing that the Rifles also don't have their starting kicker in this game, I think that's probably the right decision here. Sitch is now standing up on the Rifles sideline. It looks like he's going to try and give it a go maybe here. Obviously, when it gets a little colder, the temperatures are starting to dip. Every hit you feel it a little bit more, and maybe that's a situation here for the Thunder where, it's cold out there, and a helmet right to the ribs. That's gonna be a bit of a doozy. That field goal is good for the Rifles. And excuse me, it's Barrett Mueller. I said it was Scott Brackel earlier on. That's Barrett Mueller for the Winnipeg Rifles with his first field goal of the season. Successful there, and another huge win for the Rifles, getting a turnover and turning it into points here with the field goal. Now again, without Noyax in the game, going to the run, Urcioli's been a big factor in the first half here.
Well, we talked a little bit. It's cliched in football, turnovers win games, but I think you're seeing that 10 points off turnover so far for the Rifles.
1st and 10 here, and it is going to be the backup for the for the Regina Thunder. Blake.
Oh, almost intercepted.
Blake Shirley into the game. And again, tremendous coverage by the Winnipeg Rifles. They've done a stout job in the secondary. Aside from maybe a couple of plays, just been tremendous in terms of defending the pass. And that was Andrew Ricard, the Rifles' best cover player in the lineup. That was actually Troy Wilson. My bad. The other corner with tremendous coverage there. An underrated player, does a great job in those situations in one-on-one. 2nd and 10 here. Shirley again back to pass. He's going long once more into double coverage. And that one is almost caught, and then looked like Wilson nearly had a chance at that one as well.
Looks like some extra padding going on for the Thunder here.
As the intended target on that one was Greg Lamb, who fumbled the ball on the last Thunder drive. Actually, that's Isaac Ford, the intended receiver on that one. The Thunder set to punt here. Onabuchi can field it at the 45. Tries to do something with it there, but there's 3 players right in his face, and he's, instead of trying to take it on the bounce, stays on his feet there. Multiple whistles, and Onabuchi's got his hands up, looking at the flag on the field, and he's asking about it. He's wondering here. We'll wait to see what the call is. It came out right as soon as Onabuchi fielded that one, essentially. And it's going to be a holding penalty there, or illegal block called on the Rifles. So that'll bring Winnipeg back a little bit here.
Well, we saw last week between Winnipeg and Calgary, it was a bit of a penalty fest for both teams, and we're seeing it again this week. Both teams not really staying disciplined throughout this quarter and 5 minutes.
It's been a number of those penalties have come on special teams, on punt returns or kickoff returns. So yeah, definitely the special teams units not having their greatest day at the office to start here. Fake handoff there from Logan to Urcioli, gets it back. That one is incomplete on the play though. He was looking for Luke McMillan on that one, and maybe that's a chemistry thing in terms of the back there and
some handoff follies so far. There's been a couple awkward handoff or fake handoffs for the Rifles so far in this game.
So we set up 2nd down. Luckily, that one didn't end up harming Logan there. solid blocking from the Rifles, setting up 2nd and 10 here. Miteongo into block. Logan, pass complete on the play.
Logan was plastered, and he is down as well.
Oh, boy. And they don't have a third-string quarterback in this game. Cassie, I honestly don't know what the Rifles are going to do here.
He took a shot right to the ribs.
And again, we got Sitch going down with a rib injury.
Another injury.
We got Logan going down with a rib injury. It's cold out there on the field. Those hits, they hurt a little bit more than usual. And we're hoping for the best for Kyle Logan, as he's not really moving down there. And it's been a long day for the training staff so far in this one for both teams, really. Sitch is down on the Thunder sideline. He took his pads off for a second, but obviously the concern right now is for Kyle Logan, who really hasn't moved since he took that hit. Cassie, you saw it a little bit better than me. Maybe walk me through what you saw on that one.
We saw basically a free running Thunder player come in, lower the helmet looked right to the rib cage, and you can see they're looking at that rib cage. I think not sure if maybe he fell hard down. I believe it was number 71 giving the hit there for the Thunder.
There is no 71 on the Thunder roster, so whoever
wearing 71
whoever's wearing 71 really laid the boom there. Obviously, we're hoping for the best here for Kyle Logan, but again, he has not moved. I think they might be actually looking at his shoulder. I'm looking at the position that his right arm is in right now.
Yeah.
And I think they're working on that right shoulder. So it might be a dislocated shoulder. It could be a separated shoulder, a collarbone injury maybe. He's a right-handed quarterback and might have been in the release underneath there.
He exposed that shoulder as he fell to the ground.
And again, yeah. You never want to see that kind of play happen, and you got to protect. I don't know how late that hit might have been as we get Logan coming up now. Hopefully he's okay here. Could be a rib, could be a shoulder. We really don't know. He's walking gingerly off, but the question of the day, Cassie, is who the Rifles are going to have coming into this game at quarterback. Drennan Bush is not playing in this game with a concussion. We had Riley Noyax go down with a knee injury in the first quarter of this one, and now we've got Kyle Logan going down with either a rib or a shoulder injury as he walks to the Rifles sideline. So it's going to be a punting situation here on 3rd down and 5, but the real question is who the Rifles come out with at quarterback when they're back on offense. Mate Miteongo, there's one of their running backs. He played quarterback in high school. He's a guy that could play at that position. As the Rifles punt here, it's easily going to be no yards there. There's about 4 Rifles defenders within a yard of that one.
And not good news for Noyax, as it looks like crutches are being taken back to the Rifles locker room.
Like I said earlier, I mean, we're definitely not going to see Noyax back in this game the way that he was walking on that knee. And really the question you have to ask now is, will we see him for the playoffs? If you never want to see the crutches come out, and again, he was not putting much, if any, weight on that foot when he came out of this game. Brock Sitch is still sort of getting his mojo back on the sideline, so Shirley's going to be the quarterback still in this game for the Regina Thunder. Ball's at the 50. It's going to be a handoff there. It looked like there was a little bit of room originally on the play there for Tristan Lockman, but good job there by Noah Wilson to come in and make that tackle, and Mikey Hart coming in as well.
Yeah, I was paying attention to Sitch as he got some treatment. Looked like he put on maybe a little bit of extra flak padding on there, helping to protect the rib area. So that's why he had the pads off.
So you got the rib protector, and it looks like he might be able to come. He's probably going to come back into this game. He's walking down towards the sideline. Back to pass here is Shirley on 2nd down. It's a 1st down. As Cole Sneesby had an opportunity to make the tackle there about a yard short of the 1st down, but wasn't able to wrap up there, and that's going to be a fresh set of downs for the Thunder here. And you have to wonder what the Rifles' mindset here is like, knowing that both of their quarterbacks are onto this game. Their defense has played admirably here, and obviously you have to think that they're going to need to step up really for the rest of this game First down, plenty of room here on first down. Lockman tripped over his own 2 feet there. He might have been end zone bound if not for that one.
I'm looking at the Rifle sideline. It's on the far side from us. I'm trying to see if somebody's throwing to warm up. I don't think there is anybody warming up right now.
Like I said, like they really don't have another option at quarterback. So my thought process is that, like I said, maybe a Mitiango, someone comes in as a wildcat quarterback would be my guess. As Shirley with the fake pass there, but that one is fake run there, fake draw. The intended target was Isaac Ford, but a little bit too much gusto on that one.
If Ford was open.
So that'll be a 3rd and 2 here, and I believe the Thunder are going to go for it here. Yeah, and like you said, Ford was open there, just a little bit too much juice on that one from Shirley. And again, this is not the first time we've seen the Thunder go for it on 3rd down here. Is there in the shotgun?
Third and short. They've either busted out 20-yard runs or have been stopped in the backfield, so they are going to pass here.
Fake there.
Yeah, the flags are coming out.
The receiver kind of walked, just kind of dropped to his knees on that one before the ball was thrown, and
looked like some leg clips going on.
Yeah, he's staying on the ground here, and
it's tough. Looked like a tough play.
Might be a cramp or something like that. Charlie horse maybe.
It looked like maybe knees banged as they were going, as a little too tight coverage.
Incidental, but that's still going to be called here on the Rifles. Although there's a lot of hand motioning going on from the Rifles defense here. Matura Cow and Noah Wilson are asking what's going on, as it looks like it's like it looks to be a hamstring or a calf strain for the Thunder player down on the field. And again, this injury timeout brought to you by Align Your Mind, high performance brain coaching in sports. Visit alignyourmind.ca.
It's been a tough day for both sidelines right now. Those injury benches getting definitely a workout.
Yeah, this is, again, I think maybe the weather is certainly probably a little bit of a factor. But yeah, we have seen an inordinate amount of players dropping down. 3 quarterbacks. A couple receivers, so not really. And the other thing too is, aside from just obviously you don't want to have any of your players go down with injury, but when somebody goes down like that and it's cold on here and you have to stop playing and you have to sort of freeze up for a minute, it's not ideal for either team. You're getting a little bit of mojo. I think that it's for the Thunder, it's more of a factor because you're trying to establish your offensive rhythm here, but then to have to halt due to injury, it's sort of you never want to just be standing there stagnant for that amount of time. You want to keep active. You want to keep nimble. So you never want to see a guy go down, but it certainly is not ideal for either team either when you sort of have to be frozen there for an extended amount of time.
And this is the Thunder's 3rd time inside the Rifles' 25-yard line. As the injured player is back up, walking off under his own power. That's good to see.
I believe it's Isaac Ford. It is who's walking off. He's got a bit of a limp here. Again, my assumption would be that that's a Charlie horse or something along those lines. Nonetheless, here, Thunder going to be set up. First down after that penalty. Ball at the 24-yard line of the Rifles here.
See if they've gotten in close before. Only resulted in 3 points. They're hoping to get a touchdown here.
And again, it's going to be a handoff and not much there. Great tackle there by Mike Hart. Tremendous job there filling the gap. And that was textbook if you're the linebacker on that one. Saw that one come in and really just played that one to a T, and just a textbook tackle as well. Both of the Thunder backs are quite large individuals. So nice job there. Tackling Lockman there. Setting up a 2nd and 10. Shirley now empty back as he's got Lockman wide open for the touchdown. And, that was just a busted coverage situation there. Running back sets up in a trips formation. I think Richardson was supposed to be the defensive back that was covering him there, and Lockman just got behind him. And I don't know if Richardson was really on his gas pedal on that one, but one way or the other, It's a touchdown here for the Thunder. And I mentioned earlier those injuries where you have to sort of stop your momentum a bit. Maybe it's a little bit of that where you don't have your feet under you after an extended injury timeout. Nonetheless, Thunder with their first touchdown of the day, set up by that third down penalty, incidental contact, but ends up resulting in an eventual touchdown. So the score now 17-10, 6:13 remaining in the first half. That score update brought to you by Days Inn. Stay at the Days Inn in Winkler, the only hotel in Pembina Valley with a water slide. So another kickoff here coming for the Thunder. And again, back to return for the Rifles are Luke McMillan and Keenan Onabuchi. So we saw the defense really step up for the Rifles with 3 turnovers, but on that last drive, obviously taking the costly penalty results in the touchdown. That was a good balance of running pass for the Thunder on that last drive, and a tremendous job by Shirley coming in here cold and sort of setting the Rifles, the Thunder up with their first touchdown of this game. So, kudos to Blake Shirley on that one. Is this kick going to be fielded by Keenan Onabuchi at about the 15? He's going to try and cut it outside, now back inside. Pretty solid return to about the 35 here for the Rifles.
Always when you return a kickoff in Canadian football, you want to get to the 35. That's where you field it if you off a missed field goal. So that's kind of where you want to be, or off a made field goal, I should say.
Yeah, about 15 yards upfield there. So again, 30 set up, and the big question here is who is the quarterback for the Winnipeg Rifles?
And will he throw?
Exactly. Questions abound as the Rifles come out of the huddle. That looks like it's Adam Gottfried maybe for the Rifles under center. There's the handoff. I can't quite tell if that's Kyle Logan or if it's somebody else in there. It's just impossible to tell with these numbers from this far away. What's that?
So second and long here.
Shotgun formation here. Now Urcioli motioning out of the backfield. Pass is complete for a close to a first down. And it is Kyle Logan back into the game for the Rifles. So good to see him back out there. And yeah, probably just a rib injury similar to Sitch. And obviously, it looks like he's okay. I mean, he threw that pass, didn't look like he was too worse for it. He's probably going to feel it after the game when all things are said and done. But it is good to see, obviously, Logan back out there where the Rifles really didn't have another option at quarterback. So now under center is Logan. In the I formation, he's got Tyler Hodgson coming out as the lead back at fullback there, but not much there for Mate Mitiango.
Regina knows that Winnipeg is going to be running it on first down, I think.
Yeah, especially in the I formation, we really don't see too many passing plays coming from the Rifles in that particular formation. So good job defensively by the Thunder to sniff that one out. So second and long here. Ball at about the 46 of the Rifles. Again, single back motion out is Urcioli. Logan facing pressure, and he's taken down.
It's the mystery number 71.
Mystery number 71 for the Regina Thunder making the play there. He's the same player that took Logan out with that hit earlier on.
That hit really changed the pace of this game. It looked like the Rifles were getting on a roll, especially defensively, offensively, but kind of slowed things down. Just about 3:45 left to go in this second quarter. Rifles still up 17-10. Bit of a rugby-style kick there.
Opiola can recover that. I don't know why they blew the whistle dead there, because I guess maybe that was just a dead ball type situation, but I mean, that's going to be the calling card for OPL, is maybe doing a little bit of more of a pooch shorter kick and recovering your own punt there. We've seen Drennan Bush do it a couple of times this year, and it's a tremendous idea if you're the punter there. And obviously OPL is also a receiver for this team. He's very athletic, and we saw him there try to field his own punt. But nonetheless, it's going to go to the Thunder here from about midfield. Ideal position to start here, as Shirley's still the quarterback, and it's a first down here. That pass is complete to Ethan Douglas. Jake Richardson was in coverage there. So the Thunder gaining a little bit of moxie at the passing game here as they're set up in Rifles territory again.
We're just hitting the 3-minute warning here in the second quarter.
So momentum firmly in the grasp of the Regina Thunder right now. And like you mentioned, Cassie, ever since the hit to Kyle Logan, the momentum has certainly been in the Thunder's corner.
Reminder, second quarter brought to you by Wentworth Ag. For all your grain bins, grain handling, and grain drying needs, see Wentworth Ag.
Shotgun formation for Shirley here. He is going to hand it off. And that's going to be another first down. Braden Long. So first down here again for the Thunder. And Lockman and Long has sort of been a 1-2 punch, a solid combo for the Thunder. We haven't really seen Mitayango get it going on the run game here for the Rifles, as that's a big gain. But that one's going to likely come back. There's a flag on the play, either holding or something in the backfield.
Holding it is.
It is going to come back on the run by Braden Long. Quite a few penalties in the first half on both sides, but you've certainly seen more from the Thunder side of things.
So I'll move it back to the 31-yard line.
So I'll set up a
First and
long here for the Thunder. 1st and 20 situation. Ball at the 31-yard line. Shirley back to pass. That one is complete. Got most of that back, so it's going to set up a pretty much 2nd and 10, 2nd and 11 situation here. That pass was completed to Rylan Sokol on that one. So, again, we've seen the Thunder distribute the ball to a number of different receivers in this one. Again, that's what they're known for. The Rifles done a pretty good job of containing the pass, but
especially in the red zone, only that pass to the running back out of the backfield really catching them off guard.
Shirley back to pass here, and it's intercepted, and another humongous play, and this one is Zach Wood with the interception it's Jake Richardson with his 2nd pick of the game. Now, Jake Richardson was beat on the last drive when the Thunder scored the touchdown. A great job there maintaining his composure, sat back there, a bit of an overthrown pass on the play by Shirley, and Richardson takes advantage for pick number 2 on the day. 3 interceptions on the season now for Jake Richardson. And well, frankly, all of them coming in the last 2 weeks as we see Brock Sitch walking down the tunnel, and he will not be back in this game in the first half for the Thunder. Maybe that rib injury a little bit more severe than first expected. We return to game action. Great touch on that one by Logan, and that's going to be pass interference. Called on the play.
You see sometimes pass interference calls, just lazy plays, but that ball was thrown in a perfect area and almost forcing the pass interference call. Miles
Bestritson with the coverage on that one. That was, again, nice touch on that one to Tyler Hodgson. And yeah, I mean, he was not given a chance to make that play. The defender's hand was almost like there was a third hand in on that one. He sort of stuck in there, and that's going to get called every time. So first down here for the Rifles at the 40, making another massive defensive play. Their 4th turnover of the first half. Under center is Kyle Logan. And that one's not going to get started there. That's going to be a flag and a penalty on the Rifles here.
Well, going back to that interception, a nice return as well The Rifles player almost falling down right at the 2-yard line, able to keep his balance and get up to the 25. That's 25 yards of field position that the Rifles really need.
Some good blocking on that as well for Winnipeg, for sure. And, yeah, you really see them just complete. Like, this is probably the best defensive game as a whole they've played all season. Their front seven's played well all year, but that secondary has given up a lot to certain teams. But the entire defensive core for the Rifles, all 12 players, have had a great first half so far.
Well, and you look at the Thunder have been inside the 25-yard line 3 times, only coming away with 10 points. Because of that, it
speaks for itself. Really.
The Rifles have put on their big boy pants in the red zone, if I want to say. Call it that.
I would completely agree with you there, Cassie. And the other thing I would say is, we talked about this in the pregame. Winnipeg was in this exact situation in the first game where they were in the red zone. One specific example where they probably were set to score a touchdown and fumbled the ball. So again, it's a reversal of fortune in this second matchup. First down carry is to Brandon Urcioli. He beats the first defender, but not much there. He gained about 3 or 4 on that one. Going to be 2nd and 11 from the 40 here for Winnipeg.
Minute 45 left here in this first half.
Yeah, this is basically, we'll see how the 2-minute drill goes for the Rifles here. 2nd and long, a passing situation you would have to think here. As Logan, in the shotgun formation, he's got 2 backs behind him here. He motions Austin Klein out. It's be a screen pass here. Oh, and a fumble.
Or incomplete pass.
Yeah,
never had control of it.
The ball, yeah. Opiola was the intended target there. I don't know if he really would have gotten much there anyways. Their defensive back was right on his hip there. Neither team has really, aside from one screen pass on the first play, the offensive play of the day for the Rifles, that was a 9-yard gain. The screen pass has not really worked for either team in this contest so far.
Not even we've seen a lot of wide receiver screens. We've seen a couple attempted halfback screens that just the defenses have sniffed out before the pass can even be thrown, and the quarterbacks have to just chuck it away.
So keep an eye out for Opiola here, trying to, most likely again, gonna try and recover his own kick here. As there's the punt, end over end to the 40-yard line. And Andrew Ricard, had a hand on the returner there, but he got away from first contact.
Ricard was going for a strip there. Felt like he could have grabbed the ball. So we have another injured player. His rifle is down.
And it looks to be possibly a hip injury or something along those lines. I can't quite catch the number. Tyler Hodgson is down with whoever that player is. Thomas Moline is the injured rifle down there. He's been excellent on special teams for this team all season long. So, you don't want to see – it's tough to see anybody go down. Hoping for the best for him. Looks like Ricard is right there with him as well. And it looked like he was trying to get up, and it looked like it was something on his side possibly there. We've seen a few hits to the side that have resulted in players getting knocked down in this game. As I'm just peering over at the right Thunder sideline again here, just because they're closer to us, and somebody's down on the trainer's table. I mean, I don't know if it's Sitch, because I saw him go into the tunnel.
Yeah, Sitch is in the tunnel.
So I don't know what the number is there, but we're keeping an eye on the injured player on the field, as well as the injured player on the on the Thunder sideline here. So we got multiple.
That Thunder, when Sitch was getting worked on, he had to vacate it for somebody else who needed more attention than he did. So that Thunder bench has just been getting a workout all game.
It's a shoulder injury for the Thunder player down there, and I think it's a leg or a hip injury. It looks like a pretty severe injury to Thomas Moline on the field here, and I hope they have more than one set of crutches if it's a leg injury. Snoyox is kind of taking possession of the one pair down there. I'm really hoping that all these athletes are okay. I mean, these are some talented young players we've got here, and you never want to see players go down, but we've seen an inordinate amount of injuries in this first half so far. As Moline is getting helped up here now, and it does look to be the left leg.
No weight on that.
Oh, that's
he's
hard
getting
to see.
carried off the field. That is
that's real hard to see, and yeah, he's not touching that left leg.
It's not even touching the ground. Wow.
It might be an ankle, could be a hip. Hoping that Molina's okay. Again, like I said, he's been a tremendous player on special teams for this team this season. And you have to think long term, as I said before earlier too. I mean, these teams are both set for the playoffs regardless. You know, Noyox and obviously Sitch are the two that you key in on most importantly, but you know, you got to give love to those special teams players too. As another big game for Lockman, right up the gut, as the Thunder have started to establish the run game a little bit here through the second quarter.
They do not run for 5 yards. They don't run for between 5 and 10 yards. It's either a run that goes 10 plus, or it's a run that gets stopped in the backfield.
Completely true. I mean, if these Thunder linemen get their hands on you, they don't take them off. But that D-line's also got some great pressure. That one was possibly tipped at the line there. That's Noah Wilson making the play there, getting a hand up on that one. And he's going to touch Chiricahua. It's like, get away from the Thunder huddle there, man. We don't need a penalty at this time. 50 seconds left in the first half. That's the savvy from the veteran, the fifth-year
hustle off the play.
So here you go, second and long here. And again, it's Shirley back to pass. Looking deep, and that is interception number 3 for the Winnipeg Rifles. It is Andrew Ricard, and he's taken that one all the way back past the 50. So for as good as Shirley has played in this game for the Regina Thunder, he has also thrown a couple of very costly interceptions.
Flag down again after the play, I believe.
Goodness gracious, what a 2 weeks it's been for this Rifles secondary. I mean, you talk about coming to play.
That penalty going against the Rifles, unnecessary roughness after the interceptions. That'll definitely change your approach in this last 38 seconds. On the 55-yard line, you're thinking, get it down, even try to punch it into the end zone. Now it's going to be a challenge just to get a field goal attempt in this last 38 seconds.
Yeah, it certainly sets you up with a different game plan here, but still, I mean, you definitely prefer being 1st and 10 offensively at the 36 compared to 1st and 10 defensively from your own 30. So a couple underthrown balls from Shirley, and that was another one there. Lots of time for Logan, and he kind of just tosses that one away. There's nobody open, and the best situation there probably in that for the Rifles offense on that one. So we've got 2 interceptions from Jake Richardson in this game. We've got an interception from Andrew Ricard in this contest. We've got a couple fumble recoveries, one of which was a touchdown. It's been a tremendous first half for this Rifles defense. So 2nd and 10 here from the 36-yard line for Winnipeg. Logan was in the shotgun formation. Now he's going under center. Extra blocker in is Tyler Hodgson. It's going to be a handoff there to the outside to Urcioli. Nothing doing on that one. The unnamed 71 with the big tackle.
He's been all over the place.
We're going to try and get you the name of that guy at halftime, hopefully. Again, it wasn't on the Thunder's roster sheet that we were provided with, so try and get that for you. He's been one of their best defensive players in this game. A couple big plays with the sack, and now a big tackle there. As the Thunder call a timeout here. Still time to make something happen.
25 seconds to go in this first half. Thunder called a timeout to stop the clock. They're looking to get a couple points on the board here.
And if you're a Winnipeg hero, really, you're playing prevent defense all the way, obviously. But you can't be, based on the run game the Thunder have had, you can't sit back too far defensively because, they could go with the draw play and all of a sudden you're possibly in field goal range. Depending on where you field this ball, you have to wait for the kick and see what happens here.
Well, it starts with good kick coverage and
not taking a penalty.
If you're on the Thunder, not taking a penalty as special teams has been a bit of an adventure for both teams in this game.
So Opiola's back to kick here. Bit of a low snap. Good punt there. Returning this one is Ethan Douglas. He cuts it one way, back the other way. He's going to try and get to the outside.
Nice dodge by the ref.
Oh my, nice block on the outside there.
Flag is down, though, so
Looks like this one's probably going to come back. That was a
2 flags on the play.
Cade Tuba
with a block and a half.
with a big block there on the sideline, which sort of sprung Douglas for about 5 to 6 extra yards there. I mean, he didn't really need to stand over top of the Rifle player after he made the hit, but we do still have some handkerchiefs out there. As we mentioned, flags on a punt, and there's more flags on the punt. So clearly that was not heard by the players from the broadcast booth here. Regina with another costly penalty, and
this is a 15-yarder.
I'm starting to not be able to count on my hands the amount of penalties, unnecessary roughness, blocks in the back, illegal blocks that the Thunder have taken in the first half. Discipline really coming to play here for Regina.
You look at looking for a big play on the punt return. That ate up about 20 seconds.
You got to think they're just going to sit on it here, probably take a knee, and there's 6 seconds left. Yeah,
I believe the Rifles called a timeout, just making sure to have a meeting with their players. As we talked about it before the game, maybe a little bit of bad blood between these teams based on their previous meeting. Well, we've seen quite a few unnecessary roughness penalties, so maybe not sure if that's settling some scores from last time.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, you never want to think. You don't want to think that way, but you never know. Really, a lot of this has just been undisciplined blocks in the back and those kinds of penalties that, honestly, it's all on you to sort of, the rule of the game. If you can see the back of the guy's numbers, don't make the play, don't make the block. But the Thunder going to run the ball here. No, that's a nice tackle there by Noah Wilson. 1 second on the clock. Knee looks like it was down there.
Yeah, that's the call.
Second down here for Regina.
Regina has not protected the ball all game. Fumbles, interceptions.
Yeah, we've definitely seen the Rifles defense be the better of the two in terms of creating plays, like turnovers in that regard. Is there's going to be another handoff here just to end the first half, and we're going to go into the break with the Winnipeg Rifles up 17-10 on the Regina Thunder, and 5 turnovers in the first half is really the story of this game so far. 6 turnovers the first time these two teams played, 5 here. We're going to take a quick break and come back with a little bit of a breakdown for you at halftime here. 17-10, Winnipeg Rifles up here against the Regina Thunder.
Hi, I'm Rick Funk from Funk's Toyota. Our family has been in the automotive business for over 45 years. That's 45 plus years of looking after customers. We have a top worldwide recognized product that we are proud to be a partner with Toyota Canada. Every new and used vehicle is negotiable when it comes to purchasing your vehicle here at Funk's Toyota. Our staff of many years is very knowledgeable and will help you, not force you with your buying decision. There are no hidden fees and no pressure tactics. Not only that, we promise what we deliver and have one of the best used vehicle warranties in the business. Our staff love to serve, and you will feel like family after your first visit. We are not perfect, but we love to please here at Funk's Toyota. For those of you that have experienced our Funk's Toyota family way, please share it with others and like us and share us on Facebook. We are proud to be a sponsor of the Manitoba Amateur Sports. Visit us online at www.funks.toyota.ca.
Castida and Kochik here with Mike Still on for this game where the Winnipeg Rifles are up 17-10 over the Regina Thunder, and I think turnovers are the name of the game today.
They absolutely are, Casty. First time these two teams played, the Rifles turned the ball over 6 times. I have to say that's probably what resulted in the finish that it did, 29-21 Regina. Today, 17-10 Winnipeg at the half, and the defense has caused 5 turnovers, one of which has resulted in a touchdown. It really is the reason the Rifles are currently up 17-10, a forced fumble. It was a play where Regina was trying to set up a screen. None of the 3 receivers that were supposed to block on the screenplay was sniffed out. They didn't do anything in terms of adjusting their routes. They hung their quarterback essentially out to dry, fumbled the ball, and eventually Donovan Hillary, 5th-year senior, recovered the ball in the end zone. 3 interceptions, 2 from Jake Richardson, 1 from Andrew Ricard. Another forced fumble that was recovered by Ricard. 5th year is really coming to play, Ricard and Hillary, but really this has been a full force defensive showing from the Rifles. We knew their front 7 was going to come to play. Secondary, I would say the last 2 weeks has been their best 2 performances of the season. They're really coming into form right when it counts.
I think even more important, obviously getting turnovers is great, but on the other side of the ball, the Rifles have been doing a great job of protecting the ball, keeping the ball, not turning it over themselves, and leading and making those turnovers on the defense impact a little bit more.
Most definitely, and we've seen a lot of run plays from the Rifles, especially in that second quarter. The reason for that, I would lead to believe, is because Riley Noyox was taken out of this game with a leg injury. Previously injured his right leg against this same Thunder team earlier on this season, and he's on crutches. He won't be back in this contest. We have to wonder the long-term health of Riley Noyox, because this is a team, the Winnipeg Rifles, that are going to be in the playoffs. So hopefully you want to have your starter back for those contests. So with Kyle Logan in the game, we've seen him pass a few times, but for the most part, he's ran. He also took a nasty hit himself off an edge rush, and maybe that's another reason why it was on that right side. So you have to wonder how healthy his throwing arm is. So yeah, we've definitely seen a lot of running from the Rifles, but Brandon Urcioli is coming on to play. Another player that didn't play against Regina the first time these two teams met. He had a growth plate injury to his shoulder that took him out of action for a few weeks, but he has a touchdown in this game too. So two areas of this Rifles team, their defense and their run game, have really set the tempo here and have really it's really the reason why we see the score the way that it is right now at 17-10 in a defensive game, and that's really what you want if you're the Rifles. This is a team that's led by their defense. If you get into a game like this, I think it suits the Rifles.
And of course, both starting quarterbacks out of the game. Both starting quarterbacks, I think we'd be a little bit surprised to see back into this game. Both teams know they're going to be on the road to start the playoffs. It's all about seeding. You definitely want to avoid Saskatoon, but if you want to win the league, you got to go through Saskatoon anyways. So playing them first, playing them second, once your quarterback goes down, that definitely changes your mindset when you're approaching a game like this.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And I mean, regardless as to who you're facing, momentum is humongous when you get into this time of year. And so, especially, for either team, you come into this game with a win, you ride into the last week of the season with that momentum. Hopefully carry that into the playoffs and maybe ride that wave to an upset in the playoffs. You never know. But, going back to the conversation about quarterbacks for a second, we're probably more likely to see Brock Sitch. Mm-hmm. We're definitely not going to see Noyox, but Sitch, it looked to be a rib injury. I thought he might come back into the game after a few series, but they worked on it a bit, and it really is, he's questionable, I'd say, to come back, because, you would think with the amount that he was worked on, if he was going to come back into the game, he had quite a few series to he wasn't even really warming up in that first half. He walked straight to the tunnel towards the end of the first half to get a little bit more work sort of in the warmth there inside. You see the backup come in, Blake Shirley, and he delivered a scoring drive for the Thunder, but also turned the ball over a couple of times with interceptions, just with not enough touch on the ball. So that's a cold quarterback coming into a situation too where he's maybe not in the best position to succeed either. So we've seen both teams establish the run for sure. Regina with quite a few substantial gains in the run game. Urcioli's one big gain was for a touchdown. So obviously we're going to clearly see a lot more of the run, I think, in the second half as well. Regina would probably be the team you're going to look at passing the ball a little bit more, but this Rifle secondary is confident. This is the most confident I've seen them all year. They know their assignments, they know their duties, they're a good zone defensive team, and yeah, they've come to play.
The Rifles, in their backs, it's not necessarily about making outstanding plays on the ball. It's about taking advantage of the mistakes that they're presented with, and making sure that when the Thunder do make those mistakes, they pay as much as they can make them pay.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. It's situations where if you're sitting in the right spot, if you're where you're supposed to be in zone coverage, or you're doing your job and the ball's underthrown, all you have to do is go up there and just make a play, and that's exactly what they've done. And yeah, taking advantage of some underthrown balls for sure from both Sitch and from Shirley in this game, which have come back to cost the Thunder. But certainly you still have to catch that ball, you still have to make a play, and we mentioned it earlier too, even on the one return from Richardson where Cassie mentioned where he fell down, was still able to get up and get about 20 yards in in return on the returns. So these Rifles players too, not just intercepting the ball, but making a play with it once it's in their hands. So one of them coming from Ricard, I mean, he's one of the guys you really don't want to have the ball in his hands. He's a very versatile athlete out there, but certainly Jake Richardson, I'd have to say this is the best. He's played well all season at that halfback spot, but this is probably his best game. 2 interceptions. He's come up and stuffed a couple screen passes, made some tackles. So really liking his game so far. And again, having Keenan Onabuchi in the game means that Andrew Ricard can play cornerback. You move Keenan Onabuchi to safety. You're able to put Ricard in a situation where he's able to make a few more plays one-on-one because he's able to be in those match coverage situations instead of having to sort of be that last line of defense. And instead, you've got Onabuchi back there, who's no slouch either. Again, a product of the Manitoba Bisons, who's playing with this team for, as he self-declared himself, on a 1-year contract with the Winnipeg Rifles. So really making a count, leading the conference in interceptions with 4 right now.
If you are the Thunder and you're only down 7, you got to be a little bit happy with only being down 7. But how do you approach this second half? You've turned the ball over so often. You're down in the game. How do you get back into it?
I think you keep playing your game here. I mean, it's not like the Thunder weren't moving the ball. It's just that they were throwing some costly turnovers, throwing some costly interceptions in key situations. I think they still go with what they've been doing. They've got both of their running backs have had a really strong first half when they've been given the opportunity. They've had the passing game open up inside, sort of with sort of those mid-range passes, sort of coming across the middle. The deep game has not worked whatsoever for the Rifles, for the Thunder. But that mid-range game has worked decently well. So I think they continue to go to that. But again, both of these teams are probably going to go to the run as much as they possibly can and pass when the situation is necessary. I don't think you'll see anything change from the Rifles. This is a well-coached team from the Rifles or the Thunder. These are both well-coached teams, and I think they're just going to stick with what's worked and just sort of forget. If you're the Thunder, just completely forgetting what happened in that first half. There's a reason that we play 4 quarters of football and not 2. So they're going to come on here, know that it's probably the sloppiest first half all season that they've played, and hopefully come back here and make some adjustments in the second half.
We saw the Thunder really struggle in the red zone, aside from that one nice little misdirection play. Do you think we're going to see a little bit more misdirection, maybe even pull out the bag of tricks in the red zone for the Thunder as we hit into the second half and they get into the red zone, maybe open up the playbook a bit?
I think you'll see a lot more running, obviously. I think you'll see some, maybe not trick plays, but yeah, definitely some of that misdirection, like you mentioned, for sure. I really think the way that it's going, I think they just really need to lean on the run when you're down inside the 20, just making sure that you get points on the board and not come away with nothing. We also haven't talked about the fact that they had a kick go off the upright for no points as well, so that's another 3 coming off the board. And that's interesting too, because again, the Rifles don't have their starting kicker in the game, but they have converted on their own field goal there.
And it wasn't a short attempt either. I believe it was about a 35-yarder. I think the max you'll see in the Canadian Junior Football League is a 45-yard attempt, maybe 50 if you've got a really good kicker. Yeah. But normally you're only going to see a 45-yarder. So a 35-yard kick, converting that is a pretty. I'm sure the Rifles are happy that are pleasantly happy with that result.
Yeah, they certainly can't be complaining about that one. And as we look to the second half, I think that special teams is also something we need to talk about. There's been a lot of penalties. Discipline
for both teams. It hasn't been one team jumping off the page. It's the reason you're ahead or it's the reason you're behind. It's both teams are probably just about equal with the amount of undisciplined penalties they've taken.
Yeah, there have been quite a few, but again, specifically on special teams, Regina has taken almost every time that they've fielded a punt, have taken either a block in the back, a holding, or an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, and a lot of those returns just because, Dallas Opiola is a good punter, but, it's cold out there, maybe not getting the most out of his leg, and so the Thunder have been set up past midfield on a lot of those kicks that have been turned back to their own end because of all of those penalties. So, yeah, discipline, both in terms of penalties and in terms of turnovers. If you're the Thunder, they need to forget about that first half. And if you're the Rifles, keep doing what you're doing. Stay aggressive on defense. Front 7 is balling out there. They've played tremendously. Noah Wilson having a great day. Obviously, Donovan Hilliard's got a fumble recovery for a touchdown. Mike Hart's made some plays. Defense is playing tremendously, so just continuing to keep that up. And I think that that's going to be the calling card for the rest of this game for the Rifles as they play defensively.
And so we will be back with third quarter action here from Investors Group Field. Your score heading into the third quarter, the Winnipeg Rifles 17, the Regina Thunder no score. We'll be back very shortly.
17 to 10.
17 to 10. Oh, excuse me.
We'll be back shortly on the Manitoba Sports Network.
Hi, I'm Rick Funk from Funk's Toyota. Our family has been in the automotive business for over 45 years. That's 45 plus years of looking after customers. We have a top worldwide recognized product that we are proud to be a partner with Toyota Canada. Every new and used vehicle is negotiable when it comes to purchasing your vehicle here at Funk's Toyota. Our staff of many years is very knowledgeable and will help you, not force you with your buying decision. There are no hidden fees and no pressure tactics. Not only that, we promise what we deliver and have one of the best used vehicle warranties in the business. Our staff love to serve, and you will feel like family after your first visit. We are not perfect, but we love to please here at Funk's Toyota. For those of you that have experienced our Funk's Toyota family way, please share it with others and like us and share us on Facebook. We are proud to be a sponsor of the Manitoba Amateur Sports. Visit us online at www.funks.toyota.ca.
Are you looking for a career in the salon industry? Check out Aveda Institute Winnipeg in the Exchange. What sets us apart is our student mentorship program, 95% placement rate after graduation, real-world salon experience, and network of 7,000 salons and spas. You will learn creative cut and coloring, latest trends and techniques, social media marketing, fashion shows, photo shoots, and more. Now accepting applications for 2018, so check us out and book your tour today. Aveda Institute Winnipeg.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
geez. Mike and Cassie back with you here for the second half of play.
Of course it is. As number 71, we're just talking, trying to get his name, and he picks up the ball, makes a great special teams play. We're still searching for that name.
Braxton Turnbull is the one who
Number
returned that.
78
He's 78 on the player sheet, 71 down on the field there. Braxton Turnbull with the return. Also probably the best defensive player in the first half for the Thunder. Apologies to anyone from Regina who maybe was upset that we didn't have the number. He was wearing a different number than was labeled. First down carry there. Mature Cow making the tackle on number 33, Tristan Lockman for Regina.
Well, you saw on that return why we're saying his name, showing some great quickness for a defensive line player.
Second and long here for the Thunder, as it's going to be Blake Shirley the rest of the way for the Regina Thunder. We've got Sitch sort of on the sideline with his hat on, not coming back here. First down completion there.
Just enough. Good route running, knowing where the sticks are.
And again, that's what's worked for Regina passing-wise in this game is those mid-range completions, 10 to 15 yards. The deep ball hasn't really worked so far in this game, but yeah, those mid-range plays, sort of reading that zone, and that's exactly what the Thunder did there for a first down.
Looks like another injury here.
Cole Sneesby down for the Rifles. Hoping just a maintenance injury here. Yeah, he comes right off there. Maybe some equipment issue or something, not too sure. Looks to be fine.
You could hear the Rifles sideline yelling at him to stay down once the trainers had.
Yeah, you don't want to be scrambling in that situation, that's for sure. And this third quarter brought to you by Core Fitness. Watch for the Fitness and Training Show now running on the network. Handoff here on first down, and again, really not much there. We've been saying it all game, but that front seven doing a great job there for the Rifles. Been a few plays where the Thunder have busted on some big gains to the run, but you have to expect that Winnipeg is on first down. They're kind of anticipating run first, I would have to think, just based on the fact that Shirley is coming into this game a little bit cold, and also has thrown some picks when trying to throw the ball deep. So not too surprising that they're continuing to lean a little bit on the run here. Another
injury, and that looks to be one of the two running backs for the Thunder.
That's Lockman, who's, both running backs have had success. Of the two, Lockman, he's the one that scored the touchdown.
Yeah, and he's gotten the majority of the carries as well.
Not too sure what the injury is there. Obviously, he was the one that took the ball and took the hit. Maybe he was on the contact there coming to the ground. Again, this turf isn't really forgiving with the temperatures that we have here. And, yeah, again, this cold, heavy hits, not too much of a shock. We got Dancing Gabe on the big screen here. Show a little bit of love to the most passionate Winnipeg sports fan we have. See Dancing Gabe on our Gold Eyes games, Bison games, Bomber games, Rifles games, really anything amateur sports, professional sports. Dancing Gabe out there.
Well, this is the best time of year for sports right now. You have the Jets underway, the CFL is undergoing, MLB playoffs, NFL. So if you are joining us today, we thank you.
Absolutely. Wide open receiver. That's going to, oh my goodness, that's going to be down at about the 1 yard line. Realistically, should have been a touchdown there for Michael Letts. Bit of a coverage mishap there in the secondary for the Rifles as Letts was wide open in the back end.
They're on the 2 yard line here, the Thunder.
Now, if you're the Rifles, I mean, obviously you have to be happy that that wasn't a touchdown. It looked like it was going to be a pretty clear 6 points, but not the case. This is the reason I mentioned that. The Rifles' goal line defense has been stout all year. They really haven't given up a lot in the red zone, specifically in the run game. And
that's a loss of 3.
That was a tremendous play there. And again, Michael Letts, just not able to sort of keep on his feet there.
Hit in the backfield, nothing much he could do.
Yeah, Rifles stout on first down here. Go to the pass on second down, Shirley, and it's a touchdown there. And that's going to, with the convert, would tie this game at 17. That's Greg Lamb with the touchdown reception. And again, Regina coming out here, and first drive of the second half, really making a statement.
Well, they've been a big play team all day. They haven't really ground out many drives, but any offensive momentum they have gotten has been from these big plays, and we saw another one on that deep passing play.
Yeah, absolutely, and we haven't seen the Rifles give up a lot in terms of the passing game deep. That probably the most costly in this game for sure.
A nice job by the holder there. Snap almost went over his head and managed to snag it and get it down, and that will tie the game at 17. Score update brought to you by the Days Inn in Winkler. Stay at the Days Inn in Winkler, the only hotel in the Pembina Valley with a water slide. So if you're the Thunder, this is exactly how you wanted this third quarter to go. Get the ball, just march right down, eat up some clock, and punch it in and tie the game.
Absolutely. I mean, you don't really draw it up much better than that. And now it's up to the Rifles to answer here. Their first drive of the second half, and Kyle Logan's going to be the guy for the rest of the game for the Winnipeg Rifles, and we're going to have to see what happens here in terms of their play calling and design. Saw a lot of it was run first in the first half, and we would have to think that that's going to be the game plan here in the second half as well.
Well, it's a battle of the backups here at Investors Group Field.
This kick is going to be going to Luke McMillan. Fields it at his 10-yard line. Looks to cut it up. Field uses the sideline to his advantage there. Stays on his feet to about the 30-yard line. Eventually brought down on the play by, oh, goodness gracious, it's another man who's wearing the wrong jersey number down there. Number 30, who doesn't have his name on the roster sheet. First down at the 31-yard line for the Winnipeg Rifles. So again, we'll see if they go under center or if it's shotgun here for Logan. It's going to be shotgun with Urcioli behind him. 4 receivers to the wide side of the field.
Halfback blitz.
Going to go ISO to the short side, and that one was sort of doomed from the start. Cassie mentioned the halfback blitz. Logan was he was looking that entire way to I believe it was Opiola on the short side of the field. Good coverage there by the cornerback on that play as well, and there really wasn't nothing Logan could do. A good job there, just placing that ball in a position where it wasn't going to get intercepted. That was the defensive back Tyrell Latosky with the coverage there, setting up a 2nd and 10. Urcioli into block now. Logan looked like he maybe was trying to pitch it there. Oh my! Instead he goes across the middle to Luke McMillan, who, yikes. I mean, you're kind of getting hung on to dry on a crossing route like that where it's thrown. I believe it was the linebacker following that one the entire way. And, that's sort of just getting laid out to dry with the big hit there. Good job there from McMillan, first of all, to hold on and sort of saw the head rock backwards on that one. So nice to see him get up from that hit.
I'm sure Logan maybe going over there saying, sorry about that one, left it a little high, left your ribs exposed a bit. But able to at least prevent any turnovers.
And I don't know if that definitely wasn't maybe the intended play for Logan there, as I think he was trying to shovel pass it potentially, as Opiola with the kick here out of bounds around the 50. So good starting field position for the Rifles, for the Thunder here.
Regina looking to take the lead in this game.
Yeah, obviously started the third quarter strong with the touchdown here, and big pass and play the reason for that. Thunder sideline very fired up after that. You sort of see them getting loud as a massive tackle there on the other end.
Well, the weather makes it feel like this should be a grinded out on the ground and big defensive stop kind of game, and that's pretty much the game we've gotten today.
Yeah, it certainly has, and yeah, really sort of seeing the strength of these defenses coming out here in this game. That was a great tackle by Donovan Hilly, really stuffing up the middle there for the Rifles. The heart and soul of that defense at middle linebacker. Passing situation here for Shirley. And he's got a man complete there for a first down. That was Greg Lamb with the first down reception there. And Shirley had a pretty significant amount of time to find a receiver. Was able to step up in the pocket there and eventually found Lamb for the first down. And Thunder essentially in field goal range almost here now off of that one play.
We saw Lamb earlier in the game getting worked on the bench. His shoulder appears he's okay, making a nice catch there.
1st and 10 here. Now it's going to be a handoff right up the middle again. That'll be a gain of close to 5. And that's Braden Long on the carry.
So 2nd and 5 here for the Thunder.
Playbook wide open on 2nd and 5. Trips to the wide side of the field. Passing play here. Complete for another first down there. And that one was caught by Sean Renouf for the first down. And again, just using what the defense gives you on that one. Renouf sort of just sat down in an area where the first down marker was and just sort of made the catch, and easy does it there.
That is textbook route running from all 3 receivers on that side of the field.
1st and 10 here. Thunder at the 20. Run right up the middle. Big gain there.
Touchdown saving tackle.
Noah Wilson saving that one from being 6 more. So again, Thunder in the red zone here again, and pretty much how you can't really draw it out much better offensively if you're Regina here. 2 offensive series, 2 trips to the red zone, looking to make it 2 for 2 in the second half. Back to pass here. And that's another quick pass touchdown there, Shirley. And that one is to Ethan Douglas. And like we mentioned at halftime, this is a Regina Thunder team, despite, the ugly first half, never really out of a game just because of how many playmakers they have offensively. And they've come out to pass here early in the second half, not being afraid of the turnovers that cost them in the first half, and continuing to be aggressive here.
Some key second down conversions on that drive. You're seeing some nice design plays. They need 7 yards. They throw a 7-yard pass, and that happened a couple times on that drive. Obviously, you start with great field position. You want to convert it into a touchdown, and the Thunder did that, and now are leading 24-17.
So if you're Winnipeg here, you absolutely need an answer. Now the question is, where's that going to come from? Who's going to step up here for the Rifles? Maybe a big passing play, potentially a big gain on the ground. One way or the other, need the offense to come out here with a long drive. First of all, to keep the defense off the field here, first and foremost, but also just to gain a little bit of momentum back. Kick here again is to McMillan. Fields it at his 15. Tries to cut it back. No dice on that one. And he's slow to get up as well here.
Bit of an awkward tackle there as he got held up and was almost falling backwards and trying to stay up. Almost looked like he wanted to pitch it for a second.
Anabuchi looking a little frustrated down there as well. Maybe a little annoyed by the lateness of the hit there by the Thunder player, visibly frustrated running off the field.
Some shenanigans after the play. Lucky, both sides lucky to not rack up another penalty after the whistle.
So 1st and 10 here, ball at the 25 for Winnipeg under center. Oh, and there's a fumble on that one. And Urcioli gets
Good
back
hustle
on that one as Kyle Logan, the 3rd time in this game, he's been unable to grasp the snap from center Brody Jones. Maybe a chemistry thing there, perhaps. But nonetheless, Urcioli, Johnny on the spot there to at least make sure that the Rifles maintain possession here. And again, a 2nd and long situation. So if you're the Regina Thunder defense here, you can really pin your ears back here and be a little bit aggressive, possibly come on a blitz of some sort. And it looks like they are drawing up a blitz here.
3-man front. They brought two linebackers.
And that one is incomplete. Logan had time on that one. I believe he was looking for Eric Klein was the intended receiver on that one, but that goes incomplete. So another 2 and out for this Rifles offense. And
we saw Logan step in his first drive, hit a very long pass, drive the Rifles down, and get a touchdown. And ever since then, he's been pretty ineffective.
And we haven't heard Griffin Schillenford's name other than that, than one catch in this game. We really haven't heard Brendan Noyak's name. So yeah, I mean, some of these Rifles receivers they got to get going here. This ball fielded at about the 50-yard line. Cutting it to the outside is Ethan Douglas. And again, based on where the Rifles have started, once again, Regina's going to take the ball here basically in Winnipeg field position. They haven't started a drive from really anywhere behind the 55. And, you know, when you're starting your possession with half the field already sort of behind you, it certainly gives you a positive opportunity.
We're just past halfway, and Regina has 2 touchdowns in this half. They'll be looking for even more points.
Run right up the gut. No dice on that one. Mature Cowan on that one. Noah Wilson as well.
Yeah, all Thunder here in the 3rd quarter. Just hit the 6-minute mark.
Yeah, and again, this is a humongous play for this Rifles defense. Really need to get a stop here. They've been on the field quite a bit in this second half. 2 drives, 2 touchdowns so far for the Thunder, and that's another completion. This time it's Douglas with the reception.
The 2nd down conversions. I think the Thunder are 6 for 6. I think so far in the second half. They are moving the chains on 2nd down.
And it's that mid-range passing game for the most part, aside from that one big gainer that resulted in a touchdown. It's just been those knowing where the first down marker is, sitting down in that zone and just completing it to the closest available destination. And that pass is complete again, and another fresh set of downs here for the Thunder.
That's all about the play action, as I think everybody on the Rifles bit to the run and makes it pretty much textbook easy completed pass.
That's Michael Letts, who had the big gainer on that first touchdown drive to start the 3rd quarter for Regina. And again, they're set up here, driving close to the red zone.
All of a sudden, they're looking to take a 14-point lead.
Quite the swing here to start the second half, as that's going to be a run. Trying to cut it to the outside there.
A Rifle player got dragged for about 5 yards.
Noah Wilson holding on to the foot. They were trying all he could to limit the yardage on that one for Tristan Lockman.
Looked to get about 3 yards on that run. That's up 2nd and 6 or 7. Empty backfield here.
Shirley back to pass. Another catch there, but this one well short of the first down. That's Mike Hart making the tackle there. So I'll set up a field goal. There's a flag on the play as well. Mature doesn't have his helmet on and is asking about something down there. Or it looks like he's going to have to take a knee. Now he's just coming off the field. Oh, and it's Mature Cal getting called for unnecessary roughness, roughing the passer there. So we talked about discipline in the first half with Regina and the amount of penalties they took here, and now Winnipeg with a costly penalty and a situation that would have resulted in a third down. Now a fresh set of downs from the 3-yard line.
Yeah, of course, in amateur football, on any major foul, you mark off the full 15, not half the distance. So Thunder setting up at the 3-yard line.
Heavy package in here for Regina. They're going to run it right up the middle. And again, that run defense has been stout all year. And like I mentioned earlier, at the goal line. And once again there, tremendous play.
Flag on the play. Looks like probably the Rifles were offside on that one.
May have been the reason why the line was in there so quickly, yep. So do it all over again.
Didn't see any movement. Probably a lined up offside.
Alignment issue would be. So now the Rifles going to have to pin their ears back pretty heavy here from the 1-yard line as the Thunder set up.
Fresh set of downs from the 1. Looks like they're moving the ball to the 1.5-yard line instead of the 1-yard line.
And talk about a turn of momentum, Cassie, in the third quarter here. Regina's come out and looked like a completely different team. As they look to go 3 for 3 on red zone conversions in the third quarter, and that's a touchdown. And that's number 34 coming into the game. First time we've called the name of, oh goodness gracious. First time we've called the name of number 34. Again, number's not on the roster sheet. One way or the other, it's a 14-point lead, convert pending here for the Thunder.
It's the first time we've seen that formation from them. I think 3 running backs in the set, no wide receivers. Just put everybody on the line and say, we're going up the middle. You're not going to stop us.
Yeah, going over top on that one. And when you're that close, really, that's all you have to do. Even sometimes as a QB, you can just sort of just hut it and put the ball over top there. Good blocking by the Thunder. Heavy set there as well. So Winnipeg really needs to drive here offensively. Another 2-0. You really can't settle for that again. This defense looks, it's not that they're maybe necessarily getting tired, but Regina is just getting more and more comfortable. And the more that they're out there on the field, it looks like the more natural it's becoming for them to sort of
Regina's,
just gain first
they're just
downs.
in a rhythm right now, and it doesn't matter. The Rifles have put the Thunder in second and long situations, but Regina just looks confident when in second and long right now.
Yeah, and again, it's been done in both the run and the pass. I mean, they've established the run early, setting up second and short situations where you just need to get those mid-range 5 to 7 yard completions. Had a couple big plays over the top as well. It's all working for the Thunder right now. And this is, I believe, Brendan Noyox coming in to return this kick. As we don't see Luke McMillan out there for this one.
Took that shot.
Yeah, took a bit of a nasty shot at the end there. He also took that heavy hit on the crossing route to start the third quarter. Maybe sort of try to rest him a little bit offensively, or potentially a little bit more severe than that. But the Rifle set up at the 23-yard line here. And here's Kyle Logan under center. He's got Urcioli behind him again. Run right up the middle. Hard running there for Urcioli. Gains close to 6 yards on that one.
This is a big play here. For the Rifles, they need to get a first down here. They have yet to get a first down in the second half. 2:40 to go in the third quarter.
Absolutely massive play for the Rifles. And again, also for this defense, just to keep them off the field. Second down and about 5 here. Logan under center again. Got a fullback in to block. And it's going to be a handoff right up the middle. And that'll be close to a first down. And it's Urcioli who's sort of set up as the fullback on that one. Mitiango is set up behind him.
I think what that play call tells me is that the Rifles were going to run it twice no matter what. Even if they didn't get the first down on that play, they weren't going to punt on third and short.
First down of the second half for Winnipeg here as they continue to lean on Urcioli.
2 touchdowns down here. Went in 7 points up, now 14 points down.
Quite a swing in the third. We got a $1:40 left to go here in the third quarter. Again, it's Mitiango set up behind Logan. Hodgson motions to the right. The handoff is to Mitiango. He's going to try and cut it outside. This one's going to come back due to a flag. As Mitiango with a big gain there, but it's going to be negated. His biggest gain of the day. And again, a costly penalty. We saw a penalty taken by the Rifles there, roughing the passer on Machirakawa on the defensive side of things. And now a holding penalty negates a big gain for Mate Mitiango.
I think Mitiango needed the hold to break out, it looked like, as that holding call was right on the edge as he cut to the outside. So I guess when you're O-lineman in that situation, you're so tempted for the big gain that you just get the grab on and hope the ref doesn't notice it. But refs noticed it that time.
So we're now set up with a first and long for the Rifles. And that pass is completed. A good job there, gaining some extra yardage. Dallas Opiola evading the contact of the first defender.
A little frustrated. I think he thought he could have stayed on his feet, and if he would have stayed on his feet after absorbing that contact, he would have had a much more yardage to gain, I think.
Yeah, definitely. If he keeps his balance there, definitely a first down and potentially a little bit more than that as well, or a lot more. Nonetheless, here, second and about 12 to go. Mitiango motions on as an extra blocker here now. It's an isolated screen pass. I have to wonder on the play call on that one. There wasn't really any blockers out there, and it was a one-on-one play. Maybe just hoping Opiola could sort of make a move, much like on that last play. But sound tackle there by the defensive back for the Thunder, and that's going to set up a punt for the Rifles. And again, defense coming back on the field here, and Regina's going to once again be set up with pretty good field position. They've got Douglas at about the 50.
You have to think, even if he breaks the tackle, it's going to take a little bit for him to break the tackle, and by then the rest of the Thunder are going to be coming to hit you, and it would have been a tough task to get 12 yards there.
So Obiolo with the kick here, fielded by Douglas. Makes the first man miss. Up. Fumble on the play, and that's going to be turnover number 6 for the Regina Thunder, as Douglas he has his hands on his helmet. He knows he just flat out made a big mistake on that one. And Donovan Hillary is amped up down there. On the last play of the quarter.
That's just putting your helmet on the football right there. And that you're asking a lot for any runner. When somebody comes in with that much speed and just puts their helmet on the football, it's hard to keep hold of it.
That was a big play there. We heard it in the booth. It was quite loud, quite a loud hit, even all the way up here, and almost instantly dropped by Douglas on the return. And yeah, like we mentioned in the pregame, 6 turnovers by the Rifles the first time these two teams met. 6 turnovers now by the Thunder in this second contest, but a massive third quarter for Regina. 21 unanswered points, 3 consecutive scoring drives offensively. Couldn't be stopped really at all in that third quarter.
And that third quarter was brought to you by Core Fitness. Check out the fitness and training show on the Amateur Sports Network. So 31-17 for the Thunder right now. And this drive you almost need to get points if you're the Rifles on this drive. Even a field goal helps you, really, at this point.
They absolutely need, a field goal would be great, but it really needs 7 on this drive just to get some swagger back, really. I mean, the offense has been held in check in every facet of this third quarter. Passing game really hasn't been a factor. So the Thunder have been able to sort of anticipate first down runs here and have held Winnipeg in check. It's been the defense that's really dictated the pace of this game for the Rifles. Again, they did have a touchdown in the first half on a fumble recovery. And again, 6 turnovers. It's been the defense that's paced this team. So, I mean, they're going to live and die by the play of their defense in this game, I would have to guess.
Well, defense, at this point, if you're the Rifles defense, you're saying we can't give up any more points right now. The Rifles offense has been ineffective in the second half. You're going to hope that they can get 2 touchdowns or 2 field goals and a 2-point conversion for a touchdown. So as a defense, you just got to step up and say, hey, we can't, nothing more. They had a big third quarter. They're not going to have a big fourth quarter.
Here we go for the start of the fourth. Kyle Logan under center here. Miteyango is the single back. Miteyango takes a carry and he fumbles the football. There's also a flag on the play. I think it was going to come back anyway, even if you had gotten
another flag coming out.
That's not the first time we've seen Miteyango fumble against the Regina Thunder. He fumbled in the first half against Regina the last time these two teams played, and he's had some issues protecting the ball this season. He's fumbled the ball a few times this year, and that's coming at probably the most costly possible time if you're Winnipeg.
Oh, and a piling on penalty is going to pile on the yardage. Oof.
That's called the holding penalty clearly declined, but the piling on is not. That's called adding insult to injury at the end of that one. So literally one play after the Rifles recover the fumble, Miteyango fumbles himself, and the ball back with the Thunder here. And you got to wonder, I mean, Miteyango hasn't had a lot of carries in this game. You go to him in the fourth, maybe one of those things where he's coming in a little cold in the run game as well. And Shirley now back, he hands the ball off here. Nice tackle there. I believe that's Jake Richardson down there making the play from his halfback position.
That fourth quarter brought to you by Low Farm Co-op for all your, or this fourth quarter brought to you by Low Farm Co-op for all your fertilizer needs.
Also, just a reminder that the Winnipeg Rifles are proud members of the Canadian Junior Football League. The CJFL gives young men aged 17 to 22 the opportunity to grow in football and become a valuable contributor in the community. Visit cjfl.org for updates and information. Follow them on Instagram at CJFL Football. As that pass is complete, a big second half so far for Michael Letts. Had that big gainer down to essentially the 1 yard line, and has had a couple key receptions here now, aside from that one as well.
Another big second down conversion for this Thunder team. They have just been unleashed offensively in the second half.
Timeout called here by the Rifles. Probably the best decision. Obviously, you want to try to hold the momentum any way possible, sort of get your bearings here.
Still 13 minutes left, but with the Thunder here in scoring position, it's going to be tough for the Rifles to get back into this game.
Yeah, this is a swing quite unlike I've seen, for the Rifles really all year. For the most part, they've, in terms of playing with a lead, that against a team like Regina, to have that lead was massive. But again, like I said, this is a well-coached Regina team that has been in situations where, in games in the past, or maybe they've had to come back. So calm and composed, and really didn't panic down 7 despite not having their starting QB, and have really come out here. And in terms of a battle of the backup quarterbacks, it's been Blake Shirley that, at least in the third quarter here, has really sort of taken over.
He's throwing with confidence, a confidence that we did not see in the first half. He threw a few interceptions.
Outside handoff here, now cutting it back inside. Gain of around 5 to 6.
Good run there, because it looked like it might have been stopped in the backfield, able to get a few yards, keep that positive momentum going for the Thunder.
2nd and 7 ball now at the 19-yard line for the Thunder.
I mean, the Rifles defense has not gotten off the field on second down.
And they will not get off the field on this one either, as another completion there. That's Douglas with the reception inside the 5-yard line here. And there really hasn't been much of a pass rush here in the second half either for the Rifles. They did get some pressure early on in the first half and in the second quarter, but not so much here.
You're seeing these the Thunder go for these quick hitter routes, and you're seeing the offensive line cut block a lot more, especially on these second and mediums. So really no chance to get pressure.
Yeah, that's definitely something that the Thunder have employed quite successfully here. Is those chop blocks, those cut blocks, especially against players like Machira Cow, who does have a history of knee injuries. He's got the one pretty severe injury from when he was with the Carleton Ravens. So those kind of hits, he's obviously a little bit extra careful of protecting the knee. But yeah, it's a smart decision, and it's definitely given Shirley enough time to throw the ball here, as we've got an injured Thunder player down.
That running play from that bit of a unique formation. Two fullbacks and a running back.
Just trying to pound the ball in there. Again, the Rifles' run defense has been pretty good in the red zone. It's been the passing plays that have really burdened Winnipeg in these situations in the second half. But again, you really can't fault the Rifles too much. I mean, all of these drives really, like I said, have been played with half the field already used up. You're starting from midfield. So, in an average situation, if you're starting from the 20, 25, 30, maybe these, you're not even maybe in field goal range. But when you're starting with a short field, it doesn't really require all that much in terms of opening up the play, but just using what you're given. So second and goal here.
From the 1.
Handoff, and that's going to be close. There's a flag on the play, in for the touchdown. Flag on the play. We'll wait to see the call here.
Most likely offsides against the Rifles. And it is. That'll be declined. Touchdown will stand, so convert to come. But the Thunder bumping up their lead to 38 if they can get this convert, or 38 to 17 if they can get this convert through the uprights.
And really, this definitely, just from my viewpoint, I believe that the deciding factor has definitely been the play of the Thunder defense in this second half. So far as that convert goes off of the
Swags on the play as well.
Off the crossbar, really. And a huge turnover that set that one up, of course, the Mate Mitiango fumble right after Douglas had fumbled for the Regina Thunder. So again, this Thunder defense stepping up here, allowing really only one big play, not even a big play, but one first down really in the second half, and also forcing a turnover. So they'll redo the convert here. Low snap again, but that one is good. So now 38-17 for the Regina Thunder, and it's going to be not, it's not impossible for the Rifles to come back here, but 11:55 to go in this game, down 21, with offense that has had trouble moving the ball in the second half.
And haven't been getting anything going through the air. I don't think ever since that first pass. It's been a struggle for the Rifles offensively. They're +6 in the turnover category and down 38-17.
Yeah, you don't see that that often. This reminds me of a high school football league game that was played on Friday between the Dakota Lancers and the number 9 team in Canada, the Vincent Massey Trojans. The game was it was a 14-14 tie was the final. 10 turnovers between those two teams. This game's seen quite a few as well, 7, I believe. Most of which coming from the Thunder, but their offense, again, erasing most of those first-half turnovers with a tremendous showing here in the third quarter. Specifically, is Anabuchi returning this kick. He's got a little bit of room up the middle, trying to cut it outside now. He's going to get it up to about the 32-yard line.
Yeah, the Rifles want to get back. They need some big plays. That's the bottom line. They're going to need to. They're going to need to get some. They're going to need to get some deep passing going, some big runs, 30+ yards. Anyway, they can get chunk yardage. They need it now. So I'm sure, like, if you're the coaching staff, you just drop that 70-yard play that you've been keeping in your back pocket.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just this is the exact time. Just call it in right now.
Yeah.
1st and 10 here, Kyle Logan. Empty back set here. He's going to go deep for Griffin Schillingford. He's got it. Humongous hit at the end there. But Griffin Schillingford
flag
holds
on the play.
But there is a flag. We'll have to see what the penalty is here. And we've seen a lot of the
nylon has hit the deck.
Yeah, in this one.
This looks like it's coming back.
And it is going to be a penalty on the Winnipeg Rifles here. And it's unnecessary roughness on Urcioli on that one. So we saw in the first half, let's talk, Cassidy, a little bit just about the field position game. So the first half, we basically saw the same thing in terms of punting. The Thunder were set up close to around the 50-yard line on a lot of those returns, but they were most of them called back due to holding penalties or illegal unnecessary roughness penalties. Now here we're seeing a couple plays where the Rifles, big plays, they're getting called back as well by penalties. So discipline a factor here.
1st and 25. Logan making a nice pass there. At least makes it a theoretically possible conversion. Don't want to be 2nd and 25.
Yeah, I got at least a little bit of that back here. But if you're the Thunder here as well, you're going into the prevent for sure. An obvious passing situation here.
Empty backfield.
That one is thrown nowhere near the first down marker. You got to wonder why there wasn't a little bit more vertical sets on that one. Maybe Griffin Schillingford was running just what looked to be a screen again down there.
A simple flat route.
Yeah.
Depth of target was maybe about 2 yards downfield.
With the amount of time left in this game, 10:27, down 21, I'd like to see the Rifles maybe go a little bit further, stretch the ball downfield. I know that the play to Schillingford was called back due to penalty, but at least try to maybe make something happen that way. With Schillingford or Noyax, those being your two biggest stretch receivers, or even we haven't heard Tyler Hodgson's name called at all with those seam routes. Is this kick a good kick here from Opiola?
Flag on the play again. This is not a recording. Do not adjust your set.
We are not on loop here. This is probably either a holding penalty or we'll wait to see what the call is. It is going to go against the Thunder. So speaking of punt returns getting docked back, there's another one.
This is going all the way back to the 30-yard line.
If you're Regina here, you can use the run game, I think, to your advantage now and start to drain the clock down a little bit more. And they're going to, exactly what they're going to do here, run the ball. Gain of close to 5 yards on first down there.
Under 10 minutes to go here in this fourth quarter. Fourth quarter brought to you by Low Farm Co-op for all your fertilizer needs.
Big play here for the Rifles defense.
They have not prevented us. Have they prevented a second down? Maybe one.
I don't believe so, but
I don't
again,
think so.
This
yeah.
is it's strange to say this is the worst field position the Thunder have had in the second half at their own 35. As that one is brought up the middle, close to a first down.
Decision time here for the Thunder. It's going to be about a yard and a bit short.
That was not a very good spot that they were given there. Looks like the heavy package is going to come in for the Thunder. They're going to go for it here.
So they need to get to the We'll call it the 40.5. It's probably a little bit under that.
It's, yeah, basically, I mean, really a full yard almost here.
Over a full yard.
And it's a first down there. Shirley.
I love that call. You've seen they've run full. Every time they've set up in that big set, the Thunder they've ran it to the fullbacks, and so that time, we've seen that formation about 5 or 6 times. Never seen a QB sneak. Now's the perfect time to draw out this QB sneak.
Yeah, well called. Well-designed play call there, just knowing the down and distance and the situation there. And exactly as you pointed out, Cass, the Rifles maybe setting up for something else there. First down, and again it's going to be a handoff right up the middle. And a limited gain on that one.
The clock is the Thunder's friend at this point, as just hitting the 8-minute mark now.
Yeah, definitely. We'll probably see quite a bit of running here from the Thunder to just kill as much clock as possible here. They'll go to the pass here on 2nd and long. And that one is near. Oh, good coverage there. Nearly illegal contact, I would say, just based on the timing. But a good job there by Ricard to get a hand in on that one. And that is the first time we're going to see the punting unit in the second half for the Thunder. Really the story of the second half.
Yeah. We saw those cut blocks come on. We've seen them do that. I think that's not something we really didn't see in the first half. So a nice adjustment by the Thunder on those second and medium plays. Just we're going to run a quick slant, and you're not even going to get a chance to knock it down or get pressure.
Nice kick there. Noyox can't field it. Now he's tracked all the way back to his 25 and hauled on at about the 28-yard line.
Rifles look like they went for the block as opposed to trying to set up a return there.
So 7:27 left to play here. I'd like to see the Rifles try to stretch the field here with the pass a little bit.
Yeah, throwing an interception here deep is not the end of the world. You got to take some risks at this point.
Rifles have been the last time these two teams played, their best quarter was the fourth quarter. They had 14 very late in the fourth. We'll see if they can come up with some the cardiac kids can come up with something here. Urcioli motioning up, now empty backfield. Logan is going to throw here, double coverage, and it is incomplete. They're nearly picked off on the play. Looking for Shillingford, who, again, is one of your ideal deep targets, but he was well covered there. There was nowhere to go on that play.
You'll have to wonder if a third down comes up in this position, if the Rifles will go for it or not.
Looking at the amount that they're down in the time left, I would guess the answer to that is yes, but don't quote me on that. We'll see what happens here. Again, Logan, empty backfield.
Legal procedure is going to be the call here.
Tried to go with the hard count, but that's going to go against Winnipeg on this particular situation.
So 2nd and 15 coming up here. 6:45 to go in this fourth quarter.
And again, field position. We've seen the Rifles really, in terms of their offensively, they've started from their 30-yard line, their 25-yard line, and the Thunder essentially from midfield every time they've had the ball. It's looking to set up a screen there, but that one was underthrown for Urcioli, and you can see him visibly frustrated as he talks to his quarterback there. Some miscommunication. I think it looked like
Urcioli drifted. There's really no lane for the pass to come through.
It looked like Logan was trying to tell him that he wanted him a little bit more inside for that throw, but then Urcioli thought it was coming outside, and just some miscommunication. And we will see a punt here from Opiola.
15 yards, tough ask. 6:30 to go. Punting here is almost waving the white flag.
Nearly blocked.
The way that ball's fluttering almost
looked like it was
partially blocked. Might have heard a little tip as well.
There's a flag on the play as well, which at this point really...
It's more notable if there's no flag on the play than if there isn't a flag on the play.
Like we said before, we are not on recording here with the...
Oh, no flag on the play.
Scratch that.
Scratch that. It's great.
But again, the Rifles past midfield here. They're set up in... the Thunder set up in Winnipeg territory again. That's been the story all game long. Or not all game long, all second half here.
Even when there are no flags, there are flags on the play.
Deep pass here, double coverage, and it's nearly intercepted by Keenan Onabuchi. Shirley was looking deep there.
I think all three players involved in that play probably upset that they couldn't come down with that one.
Couple bobbles there, nearly pegged. Definitely Onabuchi, I think at the end had the best chance at it, but yeah, definitely all three players at some point during that particular throw had probably at least a hand on the football. 2nd and 10 here for the Thunder. And they can afford to take a risk like that, up 21 with the amount of time left. Shirley again back to pass, going long. And that one is also nearly intercepted. So 2 and out here for the Rifles defense. And just doing their best to keep their team in this game.
Yeah, the chances are going down as the clock ticks down, but... at least getting a little bit of momentum here. Thunder, we're just looking to put the final nail in the coffin, going downfield there a couple times on that play.
Yeah, exactly. Trying to just look like finish it off a little bit, but great job by that secondary of the Rifles. And again, it looks like an all-out attempt to block this punt from the Winnipeg Rifles, but they're
max
not gonna
protect
get there.
as well.
Literally, yeah, from the Thunder end. There's a flag on the play again. We'll see what it is this time.
Let's see what this one is.
This one where it's being put down, maybe holding. I'm not too sure. We'll see what the call is. 5:08 left to go in this game, and again, if you're Winnipeg here, you just. Really, at this point, anything offensively, whether it's on the ground, through the air, 1 first down, I believe, in this second half is just not going to cut it.
The call looked to be holding, holding against the Rifles. Regina, marking off the wrong direction there.
It looked to be possibly on the contain, like on the prevent block, one of the. Upbacks got their hands a little bit too much onto the jersey.
Big hit.
Goodness gracious. Logan, good to see him get up there. That's going to be roughing the passer there.
Yeah. Just unloaded. I believe that was 71 again.
71, who's 78 on our roster sheet. Braxton Turnbull, who's been a force in this one for the Thunder.
He's going to come out of that game.
That's a humongous play. Not play, but penalty there for the Thunder. As again, because it's a targeting penalty, it's 25 and not 15 here. So that is the biggest gain, I believe, of the second half for the Rifles, coming on a penalty. But at this point, really, it doesn't matter. As long as you're moving the ball, that's what counts. That was a nice pass even still there from Logan. I think, you want to keep gaining some confidence. Get those high-rate completions here, and then maybe look to spread the ball deep if you can keep the drive going.
I think that comes after the pass. That pass was completed, so...
Yeah, so
that comes after that play.
They're tacking on even more there. So, yeah, net is about 35 after you factor that all in. But clock is definitely not the Rifles' friend here with 4:57 to go in this game. Under center again, Kyle Logan. Hodgson motions to the right. Handoff is to Urcioli, and he's got nowhere to go there. Stopped immediately. There's a flag, two flags on the field here as there are some technicalities after the play. That tackle made by Davin Williamson, the leading tackler in the Prairie Football Conference, making the play on that one.
Do you think refs' arms ever get tired?
It's a good question. This game, I think maybe they might.
They're gonna have to. They're gonna be like icing up their shoulders after the game. Ugh.
It's objection of conduct called against the Rifles here. Didn't personally see what happened. Maybe just a push or something like that. Not too sure. One way or the other, it's
Could have
It's
been
coming
something
back.
that they said. I'm sure the Rifles very frustrated team right now, heading into this second half, up 7. Now find themselves down 21. So I'm sure not exactly a happy crew down there on the offensive side of the ball.
so second and long here.
The Wildcat play.
And that's a Wildcat handoff to Mitiango. But not much there, just a couple of yards. Yeah, again, that's something that Mitiango did in high school a lot from the quarterback position for Miles Mack. But, yeah, just a short gain on that one. Third down here with 4 minutes to play. I am personally surprised to see the punting team come out now. I would have expected maybe to go. But it is a pretty significant amount of yards that they need here on third and long. So
I think this is about just managing your injuries, managing your offense at this point. No need to really rack up any yards. Just punt the ball away. This game's pretty much out of reach.
Opiola with the kick here. Fielded at the 30. I'm looking to see if there are any flags coming down.
There are not. Wow.
I see none. That one will be up to about the 43-yard line where Regina will take over with 3:41 to go.
So a successful return for Regina. And after the play stuff from the Rifles. So no nylon on the field. So progress.
First and 10 here. Shirley is going to hand it off. Oh, great play there in the backfield. Donovan Hillary making the tackle. Despite the score here, I mean, Donovan Hillary's had a whale of a game. Forced fumble recovery for a touchdown. Been in the backfield on multiple plays in this game. A couple huge tackles at the goal line. In terms of his last ever home game as a Winnipeg Rifle, he's really finished it in style. Second down here. Pass a little high, and that one's going to go incomplete there for the intended target. And that one was intended for the Thunder's best receiver in the second half, in my opinion, Michael Letts. Really was the one that got this game going in terms of the offensive production of the second half for Regina on that deep passing play.
So that'll take us to the 3-minute warning here at Investors Group Field. It's the Regina Thunder with a dominant second half. 21 unanswered so far to lead 38-17. That score update brought to you by the Days Inn, the only hotel in the Pembina Valley with a water slide. Another Max Protect. That's funny to see, actually. 4 up packs.
I mean, they have to know it's coming here, but that's, yeah, you don't see that very often. There he goes. Noyox fields this one at around the 40. Keeps his feet moving to about the 45 here. And then, there's another flag.
We almost made it. It was so close to 2 punts in a row without a flag. So close. Ugh. There must be, I think both teams must have over 100 penalty yards in this game.
Oh, yeah. Well over 100 at this point, I would say, yeah.
We could see 300 yards of penalties in this game.
It is an unnecessary roughness call against Regina. So that'll move the Rifles up 15. But the real question is if they can move the ball offensively here.
2:33 to go. I'm wondering how the Thunder will approach this. They've been great in this second half on defense.
And there's Mitiango, and there's just nothing there. Run defense has been tremendous for the Thunder, and we haven't seen a lot of stretch plays from the passing game. And you got to wonder, maybe it's the fact that, you're not using your starting quarterback. Who knows? But obviously the Regina Thunder came prepared to stop the run in the second half. They've done exactly that. They forced the Rifles to pass, and they've held them in check here. 2nd and long, ball at the 50. It's a misdirection handoff to Miteango, and again, there's absolutely nowhere to go. Once more,
this is going to be
tackle is made by Braxton Turnbull.
This is going to be 2nd and 18, so probably another punt here.
Yeah, 3rd and long, and once
down
more.
21. Let's just kick this one away.
So, with where we're at in this game, less than 2 minutes to play now, we start to look at the standings. That's going to be Regina that will have, obviously, an unquestioned 3rd position in the standings. The Rifles will finish 4th, as it's going to be it looked like a fake punt, then it was eventually kicked by Opiola.
No yards on the play, so,
Yeah, at this rate, 141 left. We're looking ahead, and it's going to be a first-round playoff date with the Saskatoon Hilltops if you're Winnipeg. And I'm just looking at Riley Noyox with the crutches here down on the far side of the end zone. And my main concern is if they're going to have their starting quarterback in the game for that playoff game. I think you should rest him next week because the game is inconsequential in the standings. I think it's important to give Kyle Logan the opportunity to get some reps in another contest, even if Riley Noyox is healthy. But the question to me is really what happens in the playoffs if Noyox isn't healthy.
There were 2 penalties on that punt, so these teams are going flag for flag here in the penalty battle.
1st and 10 here. Shirley back to pass. Incomplete. Good coverage on the play there. Zach Wood got his hand in on that one.
A little surprised to see a throw here with minute 36 to go. I think both teams, with the way the injury situation has been going today, just keep things simple here.
No doubt about it.
Get this clock moving.
Inside of 2 minutes here, and Shirley will hand the ball off on this 2nd down play. And oh my, it was a little high there from the Rifles defender, but nonetheless making the play. It's on Ibuchi down there. Good coming in over top as opposed to down low on that one. 1.5 minutes to go here.
Punt unit coming out for the Thunder.
So again, just looking ahead to the playoffs, and the Rifles last season faced off against Saskatoon in the PFC semifinal, 28-21, a tight contest. So these 2 teams are very familiar with each other, and they're very familiar with each other specifically in the PFC semifinal. What a boot there, as that one's going to send the returner, as there's another flag on the play. And now a little bit of war words down there at the sideline.
Oh boy, here we go.
Another
flag going out. Another flag coming out.
At this rate, you just got to get these guys onto the game. We got a minute to play here. This is when stuff starts to become a little dangerous because, tempers are flaring, emotions are high on both sides, I'm sure. Just got to get out of this one at this point.
Yeah. Assume the initial flag was for holding against the Rifles, and then we'll have to see with the extracurricular activities by the Rifles bench. Bit of a late hit out of bounds there.
You'd have to think that's like there's going to be a late hit called against the Thunder, but I don't know.
I didn't see a flag come out. It might have been just a solid hit. I'm not sure. Not sure if the returner was.
Yeah, it's good. Good question. We'll have to see who that.
Looks like they're going to offset each other here. The 2 unnecessary roughness flags that we saw.
Card, who was the returner on that one, is called for unnecessary roughness. We've got multiple unnecessary roughness calls on the Thunder as well.
Okay, so the first penalty was an illegal block.
Yeah.
Then we had an unnecessary roughness against the Rifles.
Yep.
Then we had an unnecessary roughness.
Two unnecessary roughness.
I think it was one was an objectionable conduct and one was an unnecessary roughness against the Thunder.
When all is said and done, it's 10 from the 36 for the Rifles here.
I think it all works out. I'm not sure. I'm trying to.
When it's all said and done. First down here. Handoff is up the middle.
The Rifles just looking to get this clock moving.
And that's Austin Klein, another fifth year in his last home game as a member of the Winnipeg Rifles. About 6 to 7 yards on that one.
That's a fitting end. That punt is a fitting end, as
sort of describes the not the whole story of this game, but there's a lot of flags in this contest. Let's be honest here. As Klein takes it up the middle for another first down for Winnipeg, as they're looking to just finish this game off on a high note here.
37 seconds to go here in the fourth quarter.
We got trips to the wide side of the field for the Rifles. Hodgson out as an extra blocker. Klein is a running back.
Counterplay.
Nice run there by Klein. And you gotta wonder, I understand that you have two very strong running backs in Urcioli and Mitzianga, but I don't really know why they didn't use Austin Klein earlier in this game as an offsetting back, someone that has a different style of run. Prefers to cut it a little bit more outside, more of a zone back, bit speedier, smaller, slightly shiftier, and this is the first time we're talking about him with like 15 seconds left to go in the game. So
we saw the play calling go ultra conservative when Noyeks went out.
It certainly did, as Klein is going to take this one again, and that's going to do it. The Regina Thunder use a massive third quarter to come out on top in this game, 38-17. This score was 17-10 at halftime for the Winnipeg Rifles. Regina just came out and absolutely owned the second half of this game and just really didn't give the Rifles much of an opportunity to do anything.
Well, you're looking back. It's all about the third quarter, really. It was you blink and you'll miss it, and Regina all of a sudden went down 7 to up 21, and that was pretty much it. We saw with the starting QB out for the Rifles, the play calling go conservative almost as soon as Noyeks went out. We saw they were never throwing on first down. They were always running and never stretched the field until they were down multiple touchdowns.
Yeah, and it's not really easy to put it's not ideal at all when you're putting your defense in a situation where they're using the Rifles are set up defensively, having to stop a team that's already at midfield every time they come out in the second half, field possession wise, just because the offense couldn't get much going. So, you put your defense in a really tough position there, and Regina got their mojo going with the pass game. Shirley got more comfortable there, and that really was the story of the second half: field position and offensive production from the Regina Thunder.
You saw that switch by the Thunder in the second half to when they got into those manageable second down situations. Pretty much every offensive lineman was going for a cut block, and they were hitting, and then the Thunder would set up a nice quick hitter, easy throw, and that's what you have to do when you have a backup QB is make it easy on them, and that's what the Thunder did a great job of doing, especially in that second half. We saw in the first half they were airing it out with their backup, and he was throwing pick after pick. And I think the coaching staff just said, let's just calm things down and make life easy for a backup.
So the seedings are essentially set now. The Thunder are locked into the 3 seed. The Rifles are locked into the 4 seed. They will see the Saskatoon Hilltops in the first round of the playoffs. They face the Saskatoon again next week. So that'll be a tune-up. Seeing the same team 2 weeks in a row, maybe that works to the Rifles' advantage. Who knows? We'll have to see. One way or the other, they're going to need to learn from this one. We'll keep an eye out to see who the starting quarterback is for the Rifles going forward. But obviously not the outcome they wanted today. Final score 38-17. The Regina Thunder defeat the Winnipeg Rifles. Mike and Cassie here on Amateur Sports TV, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us all season.